Hello and welcome to Edge of Empire, a Horus Heresy podcast. Good Lord, it's still going, people. This is, in fact, year 8, episode 8. This is going to be one of those weird episodes where everything adds up, and 8-8, it's got to be some sort of code deep in the...
Well, if it were in the Terry Pratchett universe, it would be very bad.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Right. Joining me this evening, a man who, in a recent survey, 75% of which said they wanted to put his head on their laps and just stroke his soft auburn beard all night long. It is, in fact, Mr. Michael Bottrell.
Very cuddly, Mr. Michael Bottrell. He's in particularly cuddly mode at the moment, isn't he? He's growing his cuddliness in.
Those numbers did not surprise me whatsoever.
I'm surprised they wouldn't be. I thought it'd be higher, to be truthful.
You would think. You'd think. And a gentleman who 64% of applicants said 64% of female applicants, I do apologize, specified they'd like him to talk to them like they were an imperial fist all night long. So I don't know what that means. Take from that what you will.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Graham Mills.
Speak to me like I'm an imperial fist. Well, there you go. That seems fair.
Who appears in 2 formats this evening. A, in the his current mature, aged, rugged visage, and the image behind me.
Yeah, talk about tough paper round.
All right.
Although there is 44 years between those.
Look at those eyes, though. Look at those.
They don't change.
Look at the eyes. They've not changed. I mean, that's a bit creepy there, to be fair, but you know.
Yeah. Still blue.
Still blue. Still got it. You still got it there, gentlemen. And I'm here, Chris. And let's get things going.
Okay, very good.
So
Let me. What are we doing tonight, Mr. B? I'm glad you asked. Let me just fill for 3 seconds while I go back to the docs document that has all the details. There it is, in fact. Hurrah! So we're going to have a look at the Blackshields army list that appears in Beta Garment.
Yes, it is the Beta Garment.
He says yes. Perfect. Yes, we're going to have a walk through that, see what that's all about. And then we have our Blackshields list challenge, where if you're new to the format, and it's not one that we have done a huge amount actually this year, is each of us we each come up with a Blackshields list, and then we mark it and score it accordingly on 3 criteria that we'll explore when we get there. Everyone happy with that?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Jolly good. So, everyone, get out your notebooks, make sure your pencils are sharp, and let's have a look at the Blackshields.
Let's do it.
Right, how we starting this off? So, Graham, do you want to take us through some of the Legion rules? The first rule.
Certainly. So, obviously, the Blackshields, for those of you who aren't familiar with their kind of ethos. So, in the to and froing of the heresy, there were certain legions, or certain people, within those legions who decided that they would either just didn't want to follow along for whatever reason. And there were a myriad of reasons, and some of those have been captured in various books. But ultimately, it was all about...
Get cast out and things like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, but effectively, they either lost faith in their Primarchs for saying, hey, you should now go and fight your fellow Space Marine, or they lost faith in their... the Emperor and the War Master themselves, and thought, actually, do you know what? I reckon we can probably do a better job on our own, and took the opportunity to kind of go rogue. So there's those kinds of things that actually make the Blackshields super interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Because rather than having to conform with the standard law for a given legion, it does give you the ability to kind of go out on your own and make your own legion, if you will, which I think gives us something within Heresy that we don't generally have. So rather than going, okay, I've got to pick a legion, all right, well, this does give you that opportunity to create your own backstory, your own sort of deep lore, effectively, and to sort of have a more personalized army, I think, if doing it right. So that's where the Blackshields kind of came from. I don't know. I mean, I know there's a couple of characters that are mentioned in the Heresy books. For though you guys have read a lot more than I have, are they alluded to a great deal within the rest of the Heresy books, or is it just a sort of
they have a whole series just on that.
Gotcha.
The audio trilogy.
Gotcha.
Sorry,
That's
audio drama trilogy.
Is that Endrin Har and what have you? Yeah, gotcha. So
plus a couple of shorts.
But yeah, I just find them super interesting. I think in terms of what you can do with the narrative, certainly a lot more. There's a lot more freedom there than there would be with your normal standard Space Marines.
I think
so. Anyway,
they don't appear. I can't think they appear like a huge amount in the main series of books. They're not like returning recurring characters too much that I can think of.
What's kind of quite interesting about Blackshields, insofar as obviously Space Marines are, by their nature, you get the impression that they're very much bound up in their kind of oaths of loyalty and honor, which is a sort of central part of their makeup. There's the oaths of moment and all the sorts of that kind of stuff going on. So to become a Blackshield must be quite a.
I mean, that's a more 40k prevalent thing than
possibly
a heresy thing. They're kind of they are sort of have their honor and things like that, but the absolute fealty kind of thing.
But unswerving devotion.
It's not necessarily quite there yet.
I guess why they decided to break up the legions in the after the heresy and go, actually having all these really highly trained forces that are effectively ability to sort of take over a sector on their own probably needs to be looked at because it's a little bit dangerous.
I suppose it's also that thing of it's not nothing like that's happened at that point. The Thunder Warriors got wiped because their uselessness had run out. It wasn't that the Thunder Warriors had risen up and gone, hey guys, we're going to turn this place over. So it's that thing of until something happens, you don't change the systems that empower those people, if that makes sense. So probably after the heresy, you can say, well, if you don't follow this line, this is what this is the avenue. This is the avenue.
Next stop, Eye of Terror, basically.
So
I mean, I suppose I suppose there must have been something within the kind of gene seed of the Space Marine, because obviously they were scattered across the the known galaxy, right?
And so Primarchs are,
but the legions themselves, right? They would have been a long way from their Primarch. In some instances, they would have dispatched a company to a particular sector, which could have been a long way away from there. And so, I'm guessing that those people who are probably on the fringes, who have maybe not had some contact from their Primarch or their sort of upper echelons of command and been self-sufficient, may have just gone, this is a great excuse for us to just give that up because we're not feeling it anymore. And so I can kind of understand that.
I think that somewhere it literally is the Marines, just the whoever was in charge just decided, sod it, I'm going to become a pirate.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a cool thing. And I actually lent into that on my backstory for the Blackshields that I did a lot, but that I was quite interested in that. Oaths were the thing that kind of bound them together, and that must have kept the Imperium together effectively, or the Crusade together, even though they weren't kind of being commanded directly by the Primarch every 5 minutes. They were kind of self-sufficient, autonomous, but they didn't go rogue before the heresy.
No, because they have a purpose. Their purpose is extend humanity's reach and reunite humanity. So it's not like they have a reason to get introspective about it. Their job, they are bred for a job. Their job is kill, maim, burn.
Yeah.
And that never stops up until the point where the Emperor goes, I just need to have a little bath and sit down for a minute.
I have a little,
So
give me 5 minutes while I sort this webway business out. And
I'm going to let this guy do it. And, obviously there are mitigating factors such as a certain bald-headed, tattooed miscreant. Twisting things up a little bit. But yeah, it's like, it's true of every army in probably human history is until it runs out of things to hit, it doesn't tend to think about what it's doing too much. So
yeah, that's a good point. And I guess, to a certain extent, in a microcosm of that would be, things like even the British Empire or the Roman Empire, for example. They were a long way from Rome. But they still maintained this is what Rome was about. This is what we're bringing, mainly I think it was how much stuff we can actually loot so that I can go back to Rome and live like a god on all the things I've pillaged.
As a British person, I think it's hard for me to disagree with that point of view.
Those statues, that kind of thing, right? Yeah. So I guess that's what you're right. That's what it is. But yeah, I just always thought it's quite interesting. But it does seem to be, I get your point actually, that there was a purpose, i.e., pushing the, expanding the empire as such, and then it's like, okay, that'll do. What do we do now? Well, we haven't really got anything to do because we were bred for this one purpose, and that purpose seems to be gone, and we're not kind of garrisoning things.
This is a proper tangent, but it's actually quite a good tangent for a change.
At least it's related to the heresy.
Well, exactly right. But there is Space Marines clearly have the ability to critically think.
Yeah.
Because
they're not automata, are they?
No, because they have to weigh up strategic options, make choices, and act on those choices.
Yeah.
And that's
They
have so it's not like they to a greater or lesser extent, yes. So it's not like they're incapable of going, well, this doesn't, it's clear that they're capable of going, well, this sounds a bit off. So it's not that they couldn't have rebelled if they wanted to at some point prior to what happened. But I think it's just that thing of, we're busy doing this thing. And
unless you're a space wolf, of course, in which case you have no ability to reason simply because,
you're a shot on a leash.
Obviously they went and destroyed the wonderful Thousand Suns. Just, who else are you going to get to do it? Anybody else have gone, I don't think we're going to start tearing up our own brother Legion. Space Wolves, where are they? Just show me on a map. I need to know.
Did you just say my name?
So in the two, and I know this lore is somewhat hidden, or it's never really explained, but it's alluded to.
They've done it before.
The two mission Legion, there was this thing, wasn't there, that this wasn't the first time that a Legion had been wiped out by the Space Wolves.
Yeah, they've been unleashed once before. And
but even that, you think that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Before the heresy, before there was actually chaos was at work, causing bother, and Erebus, the jovial jester, was going around, poisoning everybody's mead, if you like. But they did that without kind of question or compunction, didn't they? It was just like, boom. What happened? Did the Space Marines wipe out the Thunder Warriors?
No, the Dark Angels and the Custodians wipe out the Thunder Warriors.
Right. Okay.
It's referenced in the Valdor book, I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's definitely the Dark Angels and definitely the Custodians.
Right.
They all the Thunder Warriors get sort of
come to the special Thunder Warrior party. Thunder Warriors only. We're going to give you a nice slap up meal, and it was basically the Red Wedding, but for Thunder Warriors.
Yeah, and it's the first. And that's the first time that the Dark Angels or any Astartes get to do their thing.
Okay, cool, very good. So anyway, I think it's an interesting thing that the motivation of Blackshields is quite cool. I think and that's what makes them interesting to me. Is that what would it take for you to kind of give up everything you'd known, including this kind of sort of almost paternal feelings towards your Primarch and going, that's it, I've had enough, I'm going to go my own way, which I quite like. It's interesting. Anyway,
it's that putting your
I was
feelings
just
for
kind of
your
surprised
parent
it didn't happen
as
before.
opposed to feelings of your sibling.
Or
who-
disagreeing with what, actually going, I suppose in a microcosm, the Primarchs disagreeing with their sire being the Emperor, but then you go further down and it's actually the Space Marines themselves disagreeing with the Primarch. But of course, then you had slightly different things where people, you had loyal Iron Warriors, for example, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of Isfahan. Isfahan.
Who disagreed.
Yeah.
You get the old Saul Tarbits. Oh yeah, let's pop down to the planet for 3 minutes, and then we'll just obliterate the potential loyalists out of that planet. So
and of course then you got Garrow doing a runner and getting back to
Garrow doing a runner, and there are instances of traitor Marine members of traitor legions. Still having.
Breaking their oaths to the Imperium or whatever. And I guess that's the thing. It's like the break. If you said to them, right, you now need to break your oath to the Imperium, then what's sacred at that point? What is their kind of North Star, if you like? And I guess most of them said, I'm going for the Primarch, but someone just said, actually, you're not the Emperor, so all oaths are off at this point. I'm a free agent.
I mean, there are some of sort of Blackshields are in. The Sigilites gang, aren't they, Mr. B? I'm trying to think who. There's the World Eater guy.
Oh, they're the Chosen of Malkador. So
Chosen of Malkador. Yeah, there's some traitor legions and
Proto-Grey
Knights.
Yeah, they go off and do the whole Grey Knight thing. But there are members of traitor legions. in there. Selection.
Anyway,
other than Garrett.
Yeah, so great discussion. But yeah, that's where I can definitely see the appeal of Blackshields. I think they've got a cool backstory, and it gives you some thing. I mean, again, you can explore some of that in how you build your army. So going on to the rules, as we've come back to. So these are their kind of main rules, I suppose. So beholden to none is their kind of, or beholden rather to none is their main rule. So Blackshields are considered that for terms of allying, both loyalist and traitor.
Yeah.
Even if they end up in conflicts between loyalist or traitor factions. So they're always regarded as distrusted allies by everyone. So they can't form alliance with things like agents of the Emperor or the War Master. So you can't add assassins, one assumes, or the Custodes to your Blackshields. So, and the same with the War Master, you couldn't add a, whatever it is, Colts Oblimo assassin to that as well. So, so that's their kind of main. If you want to take Blackshields, you can ally them with loyalists or traitors, doesn't matter. But they're just considered as distrusted allies. So just be wary of that if you're thinking of adding them in. Michael.
Got an advanced reaction, as all armies do seem to have. This time it's no gods, no masters. So when an enemy Primarch, Warlord, or unit with the unique or Master of the Legion rule charges one of your Blackshields, your squad can gain the Fearless rule.
Yeah.
So, and any models in base contact with the charging enemy receive bonus attacks, +1 for characters and +2 for unique units. So,
seems really cool.
Yeah, I think that's quite a handy one.
Yeah, I mean it's a one-off deal, isn't it? It's once per game, I think. It's not. So yeah, I don't think you can use it more than once in the game.
Yes.
So yeah, with the
once per battle.
There's a fair number of unique units out there. So yeah, somebody comes at you with their Just Aaron, for example, you can get +2.
Well, all of the named characters will have unique.
They do have the unique.
So,
yeah, totally do. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, some fun to be had there. It's not massively powerful, I don't think, as advanced reactions go. It's a one-use, one charge basically thing. So it's not something as overly powerful as say Imperial Fists or World Eaters, but still it's characterful. I think it fits with the thing, i.e., they're going to go specially to town on those units that embody their the actual Legion Astartes. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, those are the main two things to consider. They have got some warlord traits.
They do have some warlord traits. So the first of which, Bloody Tyrant.
Bloody Tyrant.
Bloody Tyrant. You've got to say it. You've got to throw a flat cap on the
That's
floor
right.
and go,
Bloody Tyrant. If that Bloody Tyrant comes round here one more time.
He's bringing the lettuces again. He's bringing the lettuces. Your warlord gains Fear 1, which affects both friend and foe.
And foe. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. Unless the opposing warlord has the same warlord trait.
Yeah, okay.
That's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
Black Shield on Black Shield action. If a friendly unit affected by fear is pinned and attempts to flee, your warlord executes one model.
I kind of like that.
From the unit, keeping them at place. Additionally, as long as your warlord is alive, you gain extra reaction during the assault phase.
Yeah.
That's definitely useful.
Challenges his inner commissar.
Yeah, totally. I guess if you had, you'd have a 20-man squad in that instance, because one assumes that you can only fail so many leadership tests at any given time. So you're just like, okay, maybe 12 of these guys are not going to make it through the actual battle, assuming that I've failed 2 leadership tests per turn. If he's alive, then I suppose Fear 1, right? I don't know if, I'm just going to check this out. I think a Praetor has Stubborn.
Let me tell you.
Which means I think you're immune to fear, he says.
I don't think you are immune to fear. I think only Fearless is immune to fear. I think
No,
Stubborn.
it's weird because you've got Stubborn, you've got Inexorable, and I think there's another one.
A Praetor is not stubborn.
Okay, I do beg your pardon then.
Relentless, but not stubborn.
If you get something, okay, maybe it's Inexorable. If you're wearing Cataphracti armor.
That's Inexorable.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which I think you are not immune to the effects of fear on.
No.
But doesn't Stubborn mean that you're, if you have Stubborn, you obviously you're
unmodified leadership.
Yeah, leadership. You can't
checks.
So good to know. But it's not a bad one. It's quite a cool one. Again, if you could somehow get yourself Stubborn, so maybe chuck in a chaplain, for example, who is stubborn, and Bob's your niece with that one, going around causing fear, and we know how important leadership tests are. So yeah, and it's within 12 inches, as I've discovered when playing the other day, that it's actually a bubble effect fear. It's not in close combat. Yeah. It's within 12 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't worry about it. Golden boys don't worry too much about it.
I guess they don't. I mean, they don't have to.
Leadership 10.
Yeah, totally. Cool.
It's not the best. It's not bad.
No.
But it's not the.
It's not. It's themey. I still think when
it's silver or bronze position out of these three.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see where we end up on the.
Yeah, I think he's
medal table.
It's quite themey if you've got a sort of tyrannical somebody who's decided that actually I'm the big cheese in this sector now, and so anybody who messes with me is going to get a bolt round through the noggin.
Yeah.
I can see that totally. So yeah, all good. All right. What about the next one, which is Forgotten Hero, which I do like. If your warlord is hit during any shooting phase, even if it's saved, it doesn't cause a wound, he and his squad get +1 to the weapon skill and strength to the end of the next turn, in which he either charges or is charged. This also grants an extra reaction in the shooting phase as long as alive. So an extra reaction in the shooting phase, we know is probably the best reaction to have, so you can evade twice. This trait pairs well with options like Halo Blades or the Broken Helix, which I'm sure we're going to come on to in a minute, allowing for Strength 8 attacks at initiative. Perfect for taking out multi-wound Marine characters. However, if your opponent avoids shooting at your warlord, which you quite possibly would do, or forces you to avoid allocating hits with him, you lose the benefit of the warlord trait. So if somebody goes, actually, I know, you're about to charge me, I'm not going to shoot you under that circumstances to give you +1 strength and +1 weapon skill.
That's the only thing about that one that, for me, puts it as a silver medal.
I think it's quite themey, though. And again, if you've got a charismatic leader, for example, who said, actually, lads, we're going to get out of here and do our own thing, that would be like, actually, the people that have followed him have followed him. You see what I mean? So he's the inspiration for their whole Black Shield rebellion, effectively,
Here's
in
the
that
thing.
kind of good sense.
Here is the thing.
Okay.
And you and I both know this.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what the backstory is. Once the models are on the table.
That's so harsh, Chris. So harsh. It's
Right,
absolutely
okay.
true.
You look me in the eye.
Backstory has never stopped to
Look at your
to
younger self in the eye, and you tell him that isn't the case.
I think if I was playing Blackshields, I would not be playing Blackshields for a competitive edge, right? Because they're not competitive in comparison to other legions.
No,
I would. It would be purely.
Yeah.
It would be purely for narrative.
As soon as you whacked that first model down, doesn't matter what paint scheme you've put on it.
I beg to differ.
Out comes Graham the General.
The problem is, and this is a problem that I've experienced recently, is that if you're tuning your armies all the time to be very good, there comes a time when you're playing somebody who hasn't got a very good army, and you have nothing that you can actually use that's bad. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So it sounds a bit ingracious, but sometimes you don't want to take a completely toned army to pick up game with some friends. So I think Blackshields would be good.
You don't want Man City playing Bogner Rocks.
You do not. You do not. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, but you're not wrong.
Even the B team's going to be.
You're not wrong. But yes. So I think it's not, in terms of actual in-game effectiveness, it's not terrible, but it's not going to win you many games.
The thing that I don't like about it is the fact that you don't have a direct influence over it.
No.
And the other bad side to this one actually is it's only shooting if you're shot in the shooting phase.
Yeah.
So even if you're overwatched, you don't get it.
No.
Which would make it actually pretty flipping useful, because that's when you're going to get shot. Right?
That's absolutely when you're going to get shot.
So yeah. Okay, cool. So what's the next one, Mr. B?
The next one is Twisted Strategist. So at the start of any turn, your warlord can grant one squad one of the following special rules for that turn: Shrouded on a 6+, Rampage 1, Counterattack 1, or Precision Shot 6+. And while he's alive, you get an extra reaction during the movement phase. Now, I think this is going to
be the worst of reactions.
True. I think this is going to be tricky to use effectively, because you're going to need careful timing and you're going to need to know exactly what's going on to figure out.
Only you would say that, because you spend half your time in the clouds thinking, hey, I wonder if pigs dream or something like that when you're playing a game, right? Or
the deep philosophical
hamsters
debate
swim well underwater, or whatever goes on in your head at any given point.
If I gave a hamster the controls to a 747, how long could he effectively fly?
Would it fly? And I mean, these are very important questions for you, Mr. B, for sure. Well, all the time, and I know. I actually, I was talking, weirdly enough, I saw a video about ADHD overload, right, the other day, and I compared it to, you get those pens. So they said, like, if you're a normal kind of neurotypical person, you look at a pen and, okay, here's a pen and I'm going to write with the pen, one action, right? Boom, I can do that. I'm going to do it. They were saying that people who are neurodivergent, those pens where there's multiple kind of.
Oh, yeah.
They said that basically it's like 5 of them jamming in at the same time. So you can't kind of get anything done, because all of your thoughts are just to do this kind of weird round robin to try and get some action done. And in the end, you don't get anything done. So anyway, Twisted Strategist is right up your alley, not Mr. B, because it requires some thought as to what the hell is going on. So I don't think you would have too much to think about here. You just be looking at one
time.
Shrouded 6+. It's better than nothing. I'll give it that. But would you, if you had it's only one squad, right? So if you had your warlord squad, for example, and you were getting shot at, you'd probably go for an evade anyway. But then you can't really, because you haven't got an extra reaction in the shooting phase. But yeah, Rampage 1, that's probably only useful if you aren't in a big squad, right? Because that's when you're outnumbered. Counterattack 1, though, that is super useful. I'm about to be charged. Okay.
Yeah.
You can look at a board and go, I'm probably going to be charged this round, or I'm going to push my unit into a point where it gets charged. Precision shot 6+ again. If I'm doing a lot of shooting this round, I know what I'm going to do. So I don't think it's a huge overhead if used wisely. I don't think you would, spend time going, I should have used this instead of that. Only one unit, though. So it's not too tricky to kind of keep the upkeep going on this one. And you're probably going to use it on your most valuable unit anyway.
I counterattack, being able to unlock counterattack even just once, just to have those extra.
You could do it more than once, can't you?
No. You can only use one. You only use the rule once. So
start of any turn.
Yeah.
So it's not a.
Let me.
It's not a one-shot deal, is it?
Is it? Let me.
Once per battle.
Twisted Strategist. Let me read the whole.
Yeah.
At the start of any game turn, before the start of any player's movement phase, if the warlord with this trait is on the battlefield and has not yet been removed as a casualty, the controlling player of that warlord may select one of these special rules listed below and a single friendly unit from the same detachment. All the models in the selected unit gain the selected special rule for the duration of that game term. Each of the listed special rules may be selected only once per battle.
Oh, okay, cool. Right, I see what you mean. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, I get your point. So it's a one and done basically
for each of them.
Yeah, but there's only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 turns potentially.
Plenty of instances that.
I mean, you'd probably use counterattack. Yeah, I mean they're not. What's Rampage do? I'd have to familiarise myself with Rampage.
You get.
Does it get an extra attack or if you're outnumbered or D3 attacks or something?
We'll just have a look for you. I'd do fairly quick.
Rampage is an extra attack, isn't it? With the bracketed number.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Rampage, EQR. Rampage, PQR.
Where you find it's in the Legion Astartes book.
No, it's not. At the start of any fights on phase models, there's a Rampage special rule gain a number of attacks equal to the value listed in brackets if outnumbered by enemy models.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Then it gets weird with things like bulky, doesn't it?
Yes, the bulky comes into effect. It's every Space Marine every Terminator counts as 2.
Yeah,
for the purposes of that.
I've been down this road before, but does it tell you what happens with a vehicle, like a walker, like a knight? So if a knight has Rampage, for example, how many models does that count as?
It doesn't tell you the Rampage rule.
Yeah.
It'll basically be whatever value it has. If it has a value next to it, which it should have, or it should have a dice next to it. It should be Rampage 1 or Rampage D3.
So if a knight charges a squad of 4 Marines, for example, is it outnumbered? I don't know. I mean, that sounds like what does the noise a tree makes if there's nobody in the forest?
Mr. B's deep philosophical question.
That's what he's thinking about when he's tracking what's going on in this game.
I don't know how much without looking into the Knight's book that I have not looked at.
I'll have a look and see if it says it counts as 10 models for the purpose of X, Y, Z. But yeah, interesting. But yeah, I mean they're not overpowered, any of those. I think. I like Forgotten Hero for theme reasons, but I think Twisted Strategist, in terms of game turns, is at least it's in your control when you use it, whereas the Forgotten Hero requires an obliging enemy to shoot you in the shooting phase. So, bloody Tyrant actually isn't bad either, but you need a big blob of fellas to take those additional wounds.
You do.
Well, I suppose it's just a wound, isn't it? It's not a model. I know executes one model, so you don't want to be putting him in with your very expensive Justaran or, Butchers or whatever. You really don't, because he's just going to basically kill a 2-wound 60-point model if you do.
Yeah, I think it's more for someone who's in a big, as you said, a big blob of tacticals. Yeah,
or you go with a retinue squad and then give them the banner. I think the banner improves their leadership, doesn't it? Or do something. I'll have a look.
What? Just out of interest, what knight gets Rampage?
Great question.
I don't think any of them do, from what I can see.
Will it not be with one of the ranks in the list?
Might be. I'll have a look and see if I can find it. I can't remember where it came from.
We'll have to do the like list at some point.
It might have been something, was rampaging against my knight rather than the other way around, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's one of them, there's like 2 of them. Are they outnumbering the knight? Therefore, they get Rampage, or do they Just the knight counters 8 because of its 8 hull points, for example.
Gotcha. See what you mean.
Right.
Interesting.
Okay. So
That's an Aunt Sally way to happen.
That is a total Aunt Sally right there. Yeah.
it is. It is. Shall we move on to the meat and potatoes of this army?
Okay. Cool.
Oaths of Vengeance and Wrath.
Yeah. So these kind of replace what you would use as sort of rights of war, but I think they're a little bit more important than that. They don't feel quite as optional as rights of war. If that makes any sense.
They're more akin to the solar
Auxilia. I don't think
options than the whatever they're called, provinces.
I'd almost say that they're sort of like actual legion rules that allow you to sort of build your legions.
Yeah, this is where the source comes from, isn't it? Really, your meat and potato, your infantry, your flavoring is these guys.
Yeah,
totally. These choices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, shall I go through the first one, which is the Broken Helix? A little bit of this. All of these, you can take 2 of them, by the way, the Oaths of Wrath and Vengeance. Some of them, a couple of them, you can take twice, but most of them you can only take once.
Okay.
We'll mention what you can take twice. If you want to take the Broken Helix, basically what in this situation is you've gone with some forbidden medical science to sort of replenish your ranks. So this is sort of like your version of the Inducti. So you've got you lose the fury or heart or spite of the legion and inexorable rules. And units like tacticals, despoilers, and terminators can choose one of the following traits. There's 2 basically. You've got Aberrant, where non-character units get a -1 to leadership and ballistic skill, but they get +1 strength, which on a successful charge is +2, and they must charge any enemy units within 12 inches. So they're basically, how's the best way to put this? They're sort of Ogrins, sort of, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, they've become dim Ogrins. And I think this would okay with the spoilers, because Terminators already can get strength 8 with power fists, and tacticals don't really need to lose a ballistic skill. But
yeah, and yet Terminators don't come with power fists to standard, do they? They come with power weapons, right?
Yeah.
So strength 8 power weapons, power sword, rending on 6s. That's super useful.
I'll give you that. But I can see the extra strength being really good on power axes into spoiler squads.
You and your flipping power axes. They're
great.
Kind of shite.
Power axes are absolute.
Give it up.
Boggins.
Give it up. Just if you mention power axes as a good choice again, Mr. B, I'm going to come round there and make you a really bad cup of tea.
Oh, that's vicious.
Okay,
but
so stop it. Stop
anyway,
giving
so
that fake news.
Anyway, if the spoilers were in 12 inches, you want them to charge anyway, right?
Are you being funded by Big Power Axe?
Big Power Axe.
That's what's
the thing is, Mr. B. In reality, Power Axe strength 5, right?
Yep.
So you hit your wound
and AP 2.
Yeah. Initiative 1. Power Axe at strength 6 is not going to make. Okay, you're wounding on 2s rather than 3s, but even so, it's not going to make a whole hill of beans difference, right? Strength 8 with a power sword, though. Well, now we're talking, because now on a 6, I'm doubling out another Terminator with 2 wounds.
Okay, so yeah, the spoilers will. I think you want them to charge anywhere within 12.
I think it would be okay. To be honest with you, also the other thing to think about here is the spoilers. It's not a bad choice, because they would be. Strength 6 on the charge? It'd be strength 6 on the charge, right? So even with chainsaws, or if you can give them chain axes, even better. But I think it's only particular squads that get that specialist units, isn't it? It's only word bearers and word eaters and
that's it. I think.
No, Thingamy take them as well. Ravagers in the Sons of Horus.
Swords. What's a heavy chainsword do? That might be +2 strength actually. What's that?
Yeah, that might be quite cool. But yeah, do you see what I mean, Mr. B?
Yeah.
Why Power Axe might not be the best of choices.
Okay.
It's not
But, you can. I would also say, but
Yeah,
this is
heavy chainsword, +2 strength, shred. So
so that would be strength 8 initiative.
strength 8, re-rolling.
Re-rolling. I mean, yes, you're against Marines, they're going to get 3+ save, but if they fail it, they could be doubled out instant death. So no fear, no pain, for example.
Yeah.
And initiative.
Yeah,
All right.
initiative's the thing.
What about
Clone Chris. This is the second.
Clone Chris. No.
Clone Chris
no,
Pete.
can't
God,
happen.
no.
No one wants
This is
that.
the other option you get. Clone.
Yeah. Non-character models suffer -1 to leadership and initiative, but gain a 5+ damage mitigation save as they get a 5 up feel no pain, effectively. They cannot make reactions, well, that's disappointing. Also can't be pinned. Interesting. This trait lets you skip apothecaries and gives them pseudo 5++ for Terminators. Cataphract type got it.
Does it only apply to infantry, by the way?
Yes.
Non-character models, so yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, but like artillery, for example, because that would actually be super useful. Because they can't make reactions anyway.
No, this
But
is this is replacing your Legionis Astartes rules.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so you still take it, couldn't you?
I mean, yeah, if it's replacing Legion Astartes, then yeah, you'd think it would. Unless it says only infantry.
All models of this special rule that do not also have the character unit subtype must reduce their leadership and initiative characteristics by 1. All models with this special rule. So yeah, I think you could probably put it on your
Artillery guns. We'll have a look into that. There may be some very good reasons why you can't, but yeah, I mean, they give you 5+ fear, right? And they toughness 5 anyway, so they'd be hard to, you give you a little bit of extra. I don't think they can be pinned anyway. Actually, artillery, to be fair, but yeah. Anyway, Mr. B, go.
Anyway, that's me.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you losing access to there's a lot of 4++ here. Have you losing access to the 4+++ you could have had on tacticals and spoilers and Terminators remain vulnerable to strength 8 instant death? Yes, you don't get damage mitigation. Although Terminators do have generally a 4 or 5 vulnerable saves. So, additionally, not be able to use Overwatch or return fire can have a disadvantage, particularly on combi weapon Terminators. I would say
So it's a worse advantage on your heavy, your 10-man Lascannon squad, which now cannot make reactions.
Yeah. You don't have to make them a clone unit, so it's not like you have to.
Yeah, it's an option.
Do you have to choose? The whole force has to. Does I see what you mean? Do you get the option to say I'm going to make them a clone unit, or is it they're either all clones or they're
That gain so all models of the Oath may and any of the special rules noted in the following list lose all of those special rules they possess. So Fear of the Legion, Heart of the Legion, Spite of the Legion, Inexorable, gone. But gain either the clone or our aberrant special rules. All units and attachments must have the same choice. So you don't get to pick between. So it's, they're all a clone. They're a clone unit or they're an aberrant unit. You can't make a match.
but everything would have it if you see what I mean.
Yep.
Is it?
Oh, I think is it?
A model with this Oath. So
I'm not questioning it. Is it? Does it have to know everything?
potentially then.
Wait.
It looks like it might be.
Where's the thumb phone?
Which one is it? In Beta Garm? No.
Better go.
When selecting, this is to see how oaths work. The effects of the chosen oaths apply to all models selected as part of that detachment. They have the Legion Astartes Blackshields special rule, excluding models with a unique unit subtype unless noted otherwise.
All right, yeah. So it's everyone.
So basically everyone, yeah.
Mm.
So going off it slightly because Fury of the Heart of the Legion is super useful, and Fury of the Legion is also super useful. If you have Pride in our armor, you can also apply these rules to veterans since they gain Fury / Heart of the Legion. Would they though?
Yes,
because they lose it under
Pride
this.
is our armor is another one of the Wraths and Oaths because you take two and can combine them.
Yes, they gain the
them have
9 unit
various
subtype and the Heart of the Legion, Fury of the Legion special rules. But does one cancel out the other?
Apparently so. apparently this is basically the effect. So, but we'll come on to that when we come to Pride is our armor. Where is that? Is that that's a little bit about halfway through.
Yeah. A model that has and any of the special rules noted in the following list. See, I don't think it does, Mr. V. I think this would go nah. Personally.
Should we just skip ahead? I'll cover Pride as our armor. So basically, this is Pride of the Legion on steroids. And with this, veterans gain Heart and Fury of the Legion and Line for an additional 50 points. But they didn't have it to lose when they got the clone.
Yeah, but...
So clone takes it away, but they never had it in the first place. So this gives it to them back.
I don't think it works like that. I think
I don't think it works like that.
I think basically that's saying you can't have those. I get your point. And
I'm pretty sure it does, but
a model with this. So this is the first line of the Broken Helix. A model with this oath and any of the special rules in the following list lose all of the noted special rules they possess.
Yeah.
But gain either clone or aberrant. Special rules that are removed: Fury of the Legion, Heart of the Legion, Sight of the Legion. Inexorable.
Pride gives it specifically to veterans who never had it. So,
but they would have it because you're Pride of the Legion, because you've got Pride in our armor.
Yeah, they possess it.
I think it's an Aunt Sally, but I think that you would be hard pressed to convince me that you get veterans because if they're clones, they can't have Pride of the Armor. But if you can have Pride of our armor, they just don't get Line, Heart, and all the rest of them.
Okay,
yeah, cheeky monkey.
I think they do, but Aunt Sally, I think we might have to ask about that.
The thing is, because you're spending the 50 points to give them that special rule, right? Which they possess the special rule because you've paid for it.
Yeah.
It's not they lose. There's not an interaction of time of when they
exactly. You're implying that they were cloned first and they got this thing second. So the clone would have taken out. They never had it in the first place, and now I'm adding another rule which puts it back. I don't think it works like that. I think it's basically saying you can't have these rules if you have that rule. Cheeky monkey.
I disagree, but I'll sally it. And what does everyone else think?
Don't ask people.
We'll get dozen answers. Okay, great. Do you want to take us through the next one, the Eternal Vendetta, which is one of the ones that you can take twice?
Yeah. When you say take twice, what does that mean that you can?
You can take two
versions.
Oaths of Vengeance and Ra. That's why I was saying if you take the Broken Helix, make them clone, and then take Pride as our armor.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So so this one is it's not about. So this oath grants unit special form of hatred, specific units, and can be taken twice, allowing you to target two different units. Two different
legions, not units.
When fighting against the selected legion, you get +1 to hit with all melee weapons. Bonus. You are required to always charge, which is never, ever, ever a downside.
It can be.
Flipping. Like when you speak to world eaters,
unless you get someone dropping in right next to your las cannons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you're going, hey, here, please take my Rhino, and you've got to charge that, right? People will get around it by doing things like firing rapid fire weapons. So they can't then charge or shoot over here because then they can't then charge that unit because it's not a valid target. So, it's those kinds of things. There's a numerous ways to game that. So let's take the las cannon example you talked about there, Chris. You just shoot another unit. And now the unit that's within 12 you're not eligible to charge it. Do you see what I mean? So it's not really a massive downside.
Okay. Right.
Because what it doesn't say is that if somebody's within 12, the only thing you can do is then charge it.
Now, the only thing I would say about this one.
Hold on, Chris is thinking, and I'm thinking. I'm giving him a minute to see if I'm talking out of my bottom, but I don't think I am on this occasion.
This is a special rule. However, a unit that includes any rules with this oath that begins the controlling player's assault phase within 12 inches of an enemy
assault
unit.
Phase. Yeah.
That includes any rules with the variant oath. Then a charge must be declared for the unit targeting the enemy, if possible. Yeah.
If possible, which isn't possible because you've just shot another unit with your las cannons that was 48 inches away.
Yes.
So it's not a downside. No matter how much World Eaters players say, oh, yeah, but this is such a downside. It isn't. They just get around it by shooting other things and going, oh, silly me. I didn't have to charge that rhino after all because I've shot rapid fire weapons or something at a different target. So, yeah, I don't ever think it's a massive downside, personally. I think you can game around it quite easily. So it's actually a great thing, I think. +1 to hit, it's super useful, right? You're hitting on 3s with a Marine against other Marines. Yeah. Which, and if you're hitting on 3s, you're hitting on 2s, which is very, very difficult.
The slight downside to this one is, of course, if you're going to an event, you say, right, okay, my guys have a specific, they say 1,000 suns successors.
You choose it at the start of the battle. You choose it at the start of the battle. So effectively, if you went to an event, I'm guessing you could go, right, in this game it's Imperial Fists, in this game it's Iron Warriors, and in this game it's
is it in a campaign that it's fixed?
I don't think it's fixed at all. I think let's have a quick look at the rule.
This was always is selected before the battle is begun.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same as like doing, the what's the rule where you kind of marked for death. You pick a unit. Well, you'd pick a army, which just so happens to be the army that you're fighting.
So here you go.
All right, fair enough.
Infirmity of purpose. The Oaths of Vengeance and Wrath define the very core of the Blackshields warband, and once decided, should not be changed from battle to battle in order to gain an advantage over specific opponents. Okay. As such, when creating an army roster for Blackshields force to be used in battle, the Oath selection should be recorded before any opponents are decided and composition of an opponent's army is seen.
Very good. So you have to do it up front.
You've got to. So
that's what I thought.
Yeah, so you are 100% correct, Mr. B.
For once.
So if we were running an event, we would say that's right.
Yeah. I know.
But
he does like power. He does like power swords, power axes.
If it was me running the event, I would say you have to select your.
Yeah, I think that's what the rule says. I think Chris is.
Of course, you're then at a disadvantage if you say, right, my particular guys are 1,000 Suns, guys, and they have a particular hatred for Space Walls, and then nobody turns up with Space Walls.
Exactly right. So you probably wouldn't. So actually, its usefulness is somewhat diminished because.
They are like rights of wars. You pre-specify a right of war, so
it's for a story.
You don't choose your rights of war.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I would say this is thematic. This is more story driven. This particular. Yep. It's one that you can take twice. You can say, right, I really hate Space Walls, and you know what, World Eaters, nope, not keen on them either.
Gotcha.
So if you know your local meta is going to have a bunch of particular legions in it. But then again, you might not run across either of them, and you might leave yourself hamstrung because you could have selected something much better.
Got you.
Okay. Next one is Eternity of War. So when one of your units fails a morale check from taking casualties because of enemy shooting, they can consolidate instead of fleeing. So that's pretty good. And if an enemy charges, any wounds your unit suffers due to reactions, so Overwatch, are added to your score for combat resolution.
Yeah, so this was pretty cool.
Yeah, so if you lose, you've still got those guys who suffered before who are going to add to that. But at the end of every turn, starting from turn 2, any unit not engaged in combat must suffer a wound that ignores all saves except your invulnerable saves. So this is going to be a one that would work really well for a combat army, as long as you can get them into combat. But I wouldn't give it to a ranged army, obviously. But yeah, you're not going to be forced off the field from shooting. Instead of retreating when you take wounds, you're going to consolidate instead, and you're going to stay in the fight. And I think it's actually really thematic. So if you wanted to say World Eaters offshoot, this would be really cool for that.
Why is that bad for a shooting army? Just out of interest.
Because if you're not in combat,
take wounds.
You take wounds.
Oh yes.
And if you've got a shooting unit like a las cannon squad,
they're going to take wounds. You don't
exactly
shredding wounds. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and that Overwatch wounds towards combat resolution, I think that's really cool because it means you can just charge into enemy fire and Overwatch as long as you've got a big enough squad. And again, I would say this would work really well with a broken helix because lower leadership makes it less of an issue because you get with clone there. If you take clone, you become immune to pinning and morale checks from shooting, and basically you just go rah.
You like going rah? That is
it's a really cool one. I mean, again, Blood Angels would work really well with that kind of idea.
Except you can't take Blood Angel special rules.
Well, you know what I mean. It's the theme. As if you're
yeah. You could take red armored vampires.
Yes. All right. The next one's a bit of a long one, and it's a bit complex. I thought.
All right. That's what you got me in to talk about it anyway. Right, this is The Flesh is Weak. Oh, it's like an Iron Hands thing by the sounds of it. Oh, no.
It's not far
Iron
off.
Hand mechanic and yeah.
Oh, no. All right, the twisted ideal way of fighting the dark mechanic of an Iron Hands dream of, transforming your infantry and cavalry units into automata, which grants Fearless the ability to reroll wounds from fleshbane and poisoned weapons and a 5+ feel no pain. However, it comes with several drawbacks, according to Mr. B. Units must always shoot the nearest enemy they can harm, and the psychos are completely forbidden. That's not too bad. I mean, if the nearest thing is, I want to kill it anyway, so that's okay.
Yeah, it's not a massive problem. I think the problem I would have with this is I would feel a little bit cheated if somebody just rocked up with normal Marines with this, that hadn't been kind of had some shenanigans done to make them look automata like
that kit done to them to with the robot arms.
Yeah, I mean it's good. It's a really good thing, right? 5+ feel no pain. Very little downside. Really.
Or even just little bits and bobs just hanging off them.
But you'd want to model that, I think, if I'm honest with you. And again, you'd probably want a backstory that, they were very close to Mechanicum and Mechanicum have been experimenting on them or something to boost their numbers, because obviously without the support of the home worlds, they can't get this stuff.
It's definitely a nice old storytelling and modelling opportunity, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. But again, you probably wouldn't get that, and it would feel a little bit okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's that's not terrible.
So the transports get some upgrades as well.
So all transports.
I think what the downsides of the automata unit type are, because there are some downsides. For example, you can't make reactions with automata unit type. So again, your las cannon squad is just going to be shooting once. There's no reactions at all can be made by automata. The only way you can get automata to make reactions is if you've got a cybernetica guy who can join the unit and get them to make reactions with a cybertheurgy roll. So you're effectively giving up all reactions at that point for your models. Which is okay. Actually, on the big scheme of things, 5+ feel no pain. Actually,
but
thinking about everybody's going to get that rather than just 2 people getting over the evade saves.
But you want that return fire reaction.
You totally do, right? You really do. So yeah, bear that in mind. Automata have some special rules of their own. Actually, I'll quickly find the section if you give us a sec, and we'll just read it out so people will know what they're getting into. It's probably valuable.
All transports gain the augmetic transport bay, which allows you now cybernetic marines to fit inside more easily by throwing out unnecessary supplies, increasing that capacity by +3 models, so 1.5 Terminators. However, this doesn't let you field larger squads than allowed by the transport unit size restrictions. Only compulsory troops can go beyond 10 models, so using this capacity for larger squads is tricky. If you want 15 strong squads spinning out of transports, you need to field them in regular units. So if I want to have a 10-man Terminator squad, that's 20. That's a capacity of 20.
Yep.
Or actually, most of them got 22 now, I think. So it gives me another Terminator guy, another Terminator character in that unit.
Totally. Do you want to hear the rules for automata? Because actually they're pretty good if you look at them from an infantry point of view. So all automata models have the fearless special rule. So your whole army is now fearless.
Yep.
That's pretty damn awesome. Successful wounds inflicted by the attacks with the poisoned or flesh bane rule must be re-rolled. So again,
Same
bonus.
Yep.
A unit that includes one or more models with the automata unit type may not make reactions. So you're basically giving up reactions in return for a 5+ fear of pain and fearless. A fearless army is actually, that's pretty good. And no model that is not also that of the automata unit type may join a unit that includes an automata model.
Yeah.
This would be super interesting insofar as, does that mean, actually I'm trying to think whether you can, I know they're distrusted allies, aren't they? Whether you can end up with an independent character with that upgrade joining a Mechanicum unit of Borax, for example.
Yeah, unfortunately, no one trusts the Blackshields that much.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
That would have been, otherwise you would have been woohoo.
Straight in there.
Well, you're Praevian, for example, or you're get them and just go, yeah. Also, bear in mind that there are things that affect automata, like melter bombs, I think. So you can end up melter bombing a Praetor for lols. So yeah, just be wary there. So actually, that's not terrible. I think giving up 1 or 2 reactions in return for a fearless army with a 5+ fear of pain, it might be worth the trade-off. That's definitely one to think about. But again, I'd probably want to see it kind of modelled, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I wrote quite a lot on what potential units could be useful for it. So.
I mean, every unit would be super handy, right? I mean, you have 10-man las cannon squad, although they can't make reactions. If you shoot them, they've got a 5+ fear of pain then.
But you have the disadvantage, or if someone puts a rhino, just dumps a rhino next to.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They have to shoot it. There's no getting away from that.
If they can. I think, is it specifying if they can? So
I think in the shooting phase they'd have to target it. So the only way they couldn't do it is if they were prevented from shooting by something else like being pinned, but they're fearless. So they're never going to. And actually,
no, but if they can't get through its armor, say it's an attack squad with their bolters, they can't get through.
They still have to shoot it.
Yep.
Yeah, is it they have to shoot it? Where? Or is it a thing?
And I guess they'd have to shoot it. And if you had rapid fire weapons, you could almost prevent them from then charging because they've shot rapid fire weapons.
There are ways of shutting them down there.
So it's must have a shooting attack if there's an enemy unit within range.
Yeah.
And must target the closest enemy unit possible that is in line of sight and is a valid target for a shooting.
Oh, okay. In that case, that would not be the case.
So
because bolters against a side of a rhino, for example, wouldn't be valid because they can't damage it. I think.
Yeah, because you can't get 11 on you're technically the most you can get. So
you can shoot it in the back for sure. But
yeah, but if you can't get to the rear armor of it, then
you're screwed.
Yeah. So someone could be an arsehole and just put the rhino and turn it around.
Yeah,
but that's a whole level of S-housery that I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally here for.
But I mean, that's kind of the point. You're going to be stuck in situations like that. You might end up with that happening.
Yeah.
So you are
Age of Empire finding the S-housery, so you don't have to.
you are
traditionally our modus operandi.
When you take units out of rules like this, you do end up with a situation of sometimes you are going to be stuck where someone is going to be essentially leading what you can fire at.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but it's just part of the game.
If you had if you had a non-shooting combat army with fearless and 5+ fear of pain.
Oh yeah, I think I was hypothesizing. I would consider Seekers for this being really good.
Is it just one unit, or is the whole army?
The whole army gets it.
So yeah, I mean, Seekers would be. I mean, anything would be great with this, but I think close combat would probably be better. Just whatever they're not.
5+
just spoilers, yeah, with fearless. 20 Marine assault squad with fearless,
and
they're not going anywhere. You're going to tar pit everything.
All right,
yeah.
Okay, cool. What about the next one? Shall we move on to our in disgrace all equal? Because I really quite like the sounds of this.
I mean, that should be the tagline for our podcast, I feel.
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll put that on the next T-shirt, shall we?
Yeah.
In disgrace, all are equal. Yeah. Okay.
So this oath is like a supercharged version of the Night Lord's bike ride, as it transforms your detachment into a collection of small war bands rather than a sort of unified hierarchical structure. So you can't with any HQs, but every character within a unit, excluding non-combatants like apothecaries, receives +1 leadership, +1 wounds, and a bonus to either weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, initiative of your choice. However, all other models in the detachment suffer a -1 penalty to leadership. Heads up. Sergeants in your army essentially function as mini HQs, with basic troop sergeants getting weapon skill 5 and 2 wounds, which is equivalent to a centurion, and terminators achieving centurion level stats. Actually, even a sergeant would get centurion level stats, with weapon skill 5, 2+, and 3 wounds.
Mm-hmm.
Would they though?
Yes.
Why would they get weapon skill? Oh, they get 3 wounds anyway. No, they get 2 wounds, don't they? So why would they get? I think normal terminators have a weapon skill of 4, don't they?
Normal terminators, I think, are 4 on the board. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Special ones are 5s.
So you'd have to choose. Oh, you get the wound anyway, but then you choose the. I get you. You choose the +1 weapon skill option. Yeah. Sorry, Mr. B.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean
cool.
that's the way it would seem to me. That's how I would do it if I had terminators. I give them the better weapon skill. I think it seems.
Got it.
More.
Yeah, nice one. Very good. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. Super themey. You know, rather than just like a roving band of miscreants causing havoc.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. So it's a good story. But you don't get any consoles. You don't get any of that stuff. So yeah, I think it's no buffs to them. You're just basically upgrading all of your character types.
I would take a lot of terminators.
Because they're not characters, are they?
No.
The sergeants, are they?
Sergeants are. Yeah, they're kind of like.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a bit like the Dark Ages one, you know, where you can take like 1 billion centurions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar to that, isn't it? So yeah,
basically you're turning all your Terminator sergeants into a mini centurion.
Yeah, but
because it's like I suppose this would be like the Night Lord's squads basically going, these officers absolutely suck, so let's just kill them all.
We've killed them basically. Yeah, we killed all our officers and we're just running amok, causing completely lawlessness. Cool, not a bad one. Okay,
yeah, it's interesting. Very again, that's the thing. There's a lot of theme potential there.
Yeah.
Okay, Pride is our armor. We sort of mentioned this before. No, Pride is our armor. But we sort of haven't gone through it. Basically, you get your veterans, get your heart, fury, and line for additional 50 points. Your veterans get then 4++ with a heart, fury, which is interesting. But you're still only limited to 10-man squads. So
yeah. Not terrible. I mean,
it's not terrible, but would you
2 wounds
of a Terminators?
2 wounds, 2+ armor veterans, I believe.
No,
3+ armor.
3+ armor.
3+ armor. I beg your pardon. Yeah, I'm getting them confused with command squads. But yeah, they can take a lot of different gear. Veterans are pretty cool. 2 wounds though, and again, strength 8, like you say, they are vulnerable to that, but there's a lot of, you would probably want to keep them out of the way of that. And I know you got 10-man unit, like you say, Mr. B, unless you're getting hit by strength 8, that's still 20 wounds, which is, you could argue there's an equivalence between 20-man tactical squad and a 10-man veteran squad in that regard.
True. And you've got your option of your heavy weapon and special weapons in there as well.
Yeah. I mean, they are weapon skill 5 as well. And I think they have quite a high leadership veteran. I'm just going to get the stats up for veterans actually before.
You don't see veterans a lot these days.
You used to see them all the time, right? Because Pride of the Legion was so good before we had the line rule that there was no point taking a tactical marine. You might as well take a veteran. And there were no restrictions on it with things like, I think the reason you don't see it as much is because it's a very restrictive right of war. You can only take 1 heavy support choice or something like that, I think. So you just don't see it. In the days of shooting armies, you just don't see it that often.
Which I don't actually understand all that much, because veterans are really good at shooting with the option to take a heavy weapon or a special. It's either 2 heavy weapons or 2 special weapons.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's a mix of
guess
both.
it's like, the problem with that is that, and this is always the problem, and to a certain extent, I've played into this. If you start having really good troops choices, then really all you want the best thing you want from a troops choice is get on that objective. But now you're kind of asking your troops choice not just get on objectives, but to actually start to win your games.
Yeah.
So you want them resilient, but you don't really want them tooled up to the max with a load of points sunk into them, because the chances are they're going to get on objective and sit there till they get shot off it.
That is true. That is true.
If you combine this with the automata one, though,
Yeah, it would be proper good.
that's them doing that with a 5+ feel no pain.
As
So that's
well.
kind of one of the points, is that you can, you know, the ability to mix and match some of these is just fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Let me get the veteran stats up and we'll just go through them just so that we know what we're doing. So veteran squad, no, I got it here, it's right in front of me. So weapon skill 5, so hitting on 3s against other Marines, special skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, 2 attacks. They've got 2 attacks, which makes them better, and I believe they come with bolt pistol, and I know you have to give them they used to come with a extra close combat weapon, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they don't. They've got just a bolt pistol and a bolter. So yeah, they've got, what have they got? 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 8 base. So that's cool. Yeah, not bad at all.
And can they still take the special and heavy weapons, or?
I'm just they definitely can. I'm just getting onto the page. Give us one moment. Yeah, so they can take all sorts of stuff because they are tooled to the max. Lancia boxes, Vexalas, augury scanners, bayonets, chain bayonets, combi weapons like tactical squads, but anybody can take them. So rather than just the sergeants in a normal tactical squad, and you can have everybody's going to have a combi Volkite, for example, which has got some advantages at 5 points each, or you give them all Nemesis bolters, which is quite common. And then they become like a fantastic sniper squad because they're relentless. So they're kind of wandering around, you charge them, they're going to actually fire sniper rifles at you in Overwatch.
Well, obviously, they're in an elite slot, and you've only got 4 of them, so.
Well, you have, unless you use this particular thing when you have 6.
Actually, does this put them into troops?
No, it gives you 2 extra.
Oh, because you may not take any troops choices with this one. Sorry.
No, you can't take any troops choices at all, but you get an extra 2.
2 extra elite slot. Yes, you do.
But they aren't cheap. So what else can they take? Chainsaws, heavy chainsword. Yeah, so you can give them a chainsword, right? 2 points each. Give them an extra attack.
Tool them up nice.
Got to be worth doing every day of the week. So yeah, I think they're a pretty useful thing.
What about the next one, Chris? Legacy of Nikea. That's
So here we go. Now the real fun begins. All characters gain the Psychus. Actually, they don't gain it. They may gain it. Yeah, it's an optional thing, which I think is super interesting compared to the other ones where you have to necessarily have the effect of that particular oath. This one is an optional one for the characters. They gain access to a unique psychic weapon, which is the Warp Torrent psychic power. Additionally, any independent character that you have made a psyker can spend 25 points to access a individual rulebook psychic discipline as well. So to fully utilize this, you'll need to make your warlord and at least 2 other characters psychers. They don't get access to the etheric lightning because the warp torrent takes its place functionally. It is a 12-inch strength 5 AP 5 assault to deflagrate ability with the malignant force special rule, which I'll come on to in a second. But you can do the psychic test ability to make it an AP 3, which is super useful. Strength 5, assault 2, deflagrate AP 3 shenanigans. Malignant force, any psychic with the warp torrent psychic weapon may choose to have the units they are part of suffer perils of the warp for making any attack to that weapon. If this option is not chosen, then resolve the attacks using the torrent profile. If the option is chosen, first resolve perils of the warp against the unit the attacking model is part of. If the attacking model survives, then resolve using the malignant profile. Sorry, so the AP3 one is the malignant profile.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can just go perils of the warp, have some fun.
It's an interesting little one there.
It is, and I think you can do some interesting things narratively out of it. Because Nikia is a big thing for a lot of the legions.
Yeah.
And how it affects them. So I think you can have some fun with it.
I think it's, can I say, you could definitely have a disgruntled set of psychers, couldn't you? Basically saying,
you have
you just Death Guard or something.
When I was writing up all these notes, I'm like planning various different Blackshields armies, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to, and I'm one day I'm gonna have to do Blackshields and just pick something.
Yeah.
I think it's an additional weapon for free, which is never a bad thing. It's not crazy strong, but it's super useful, and you don't have to apply it if you don't want to. It doesn't have any drawbacks to it, because there aren't that many anti-psyker weapons out in the world, really. It's only Citizens of Silence generally I can think of off the top of my head. So yeah, have at it would be my
absolutely
my call.
Nice.
Okay, what is next, Graham Mills?
So the next one out, the Black Shield bag, only in death does duty end, said in the old Dreadnought from, what was it, Dawn of War?
Dawn of War.
Yeah, speaking of Dawn of War, you guys see that they've re-released Dawn of War as a anniversary edition?
Have they?
Yeah.
Have they? Man, instantly
they have
updated in Dawn of War.
They have updated everybody's copy of Dawn of War, giving you all of the DLC and horse armor, and retitled it the anniversary edition with a few updates.
And do you want to know how many pennies that is? Do you want to know? £5 on.
I mean, the game is 30 years old, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's still.
Yes, but if you've already got it, you get the anniversary edition.
It's 18 years old. January 1st, 2006.
20 actually. It didn't. Its Steam release was a couple of years after. It's
okay.
This celebrates the 20th and 15th anniversary of both games.
Do you know what? For £5.60.
I'm sure it's in a humble bumble.
No.
It's been in there for a long time. They've done
Steam key for it somewhere. Before you do that, Chris, just
give me a second.
Because we can do that friends and family sharing thing, can't we? So I can share my Steam library with you, and you can play the games that I'm not playing, I believe. Is that right, Mr. B?
Yes, you can share Steam libraries with the family. It's great. Dawn of War 2, you can currently get for, you go to some dodgy sites. It's actually not that. Yeah, there's no good cheap editions of Dawn of War 2, so you better get them off Steam.
Anyway, this this oath lets your units automatically pass a morale checks. This is only in the duty end, but suffer D3 wounds that ignore all saves except invulnerable ones. In a humorous twist, says Mr. B, none of your units give up victory points when they're slain. So actually, not terrible. Oath pairs well with other abilities that lower your leadership, so you don't have to worry about morale checks. So you basically use this too, but you are going to get thumped every time you fail any kind of morale check. So pinning, getting shot at, losing combat. But, it might make you hang around. So that's no bad thing.
I just love that the victory points get given for your units. It's just brilliant.
Yeah. You don't get, so basically it's like none of your units give up victory points. So so basically in that kind of battle where it's like, and you get 1 victory point for killing your opponent, you're on to an absolute winner.
Yep.
So yes, like I say, and a good point you make there. If anything lowers your leadership, we don't have to worry about it anymore. You just take D3 wounds. But, yeah.
So that's your Yeah.
And it's where Mr. B's ability to roll ones and my ability to roll runs will suddenly desert us as we roll successive sixes for our number of wounds every time.
Absolutely.
Pinning,
Absolutely.
concussive, psychic powers can only impact your units. Yeah, that's very true, Mr. B.
Absolutely going to be what happens. And then we've got Panoply of Old. This is one of the few that you can take twice.
Actually, thinking about it, if you took only a death to duty end with the automata one, you would basically no victory points for you, and I'm fearless, so I ignore that anyway.
Join audio plus enemy roll checks plus suffer D3
You automatically, they automatically pass them anyway. Oh, it's interesting.
But they suffer D3 wounds that ignore all saves, except invulnerable saves.
That's a very interesting one, isn't it? Because it's like
there's lots of interesting combinations that you can.
Yeah, that are bound to cause Aunt Sally to head spin, I think.
Yeah.
That's a choice of words.
Yes.
Okay, so Panoply of Old. So this oath gets you special gear from one particular legion. And as I said, you can pick it twice. You can decide, I want White Scar stuff and Salamanders, Flamers, and Iron Hands grab weapons.
I tell you what, the World Eaters armory is going to get massively raided for those paired blades that are rending 4+.
Yeah, but this is a really nice one. And it gets
assault cannons from the Blood Angels. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah,
yeah, assault cannons from
anything from the Imperial Fist list.
The Storm Shields, right?
Yeah, Storm Shields cannons in the Blood Angels.
What did I think of something with the Storm Shields? I can't remember if there was something for Storm Shields I thought of, but no, I didn't. So
you've got Dragon Scale Storm Shields, haven't you?
Yeah, Dragon Scale Storm Shields.
+1 shield.
Trash.
But for example, you've got issues with if you choose it twice, some legions were going to require you to replace the same war gear. So, for example, Salamanders and Death Guard can upgrade their flamers. So, you might be stuck having to. Yeah. So,
good point.
It's just a case of you might think, I'm a little wild, but then you might end up in a situation where, actually, I've got to think about what actually I do want to pick. So, and because Blackshields count as both loyalists and traitors in a primary detachment, you can use allegiance specific war gear like the Emperor's Children implants, even if you're aligned differently.
You could hang on, just because I'm now going down this rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh, what was it? Here's something about Storm Shield. Right. If you're thinking about 2++ saves, both variants of Storm Shields only go up to 3++, and you can't combine it with a Cyber Familiar.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I was more thinking.
That's what I was thinking of.
Solarite Power Gauntlets, Virgin Storm Shields, and the Teleport Strike ability.
Is there anything that the Imperial Fists don't get? I mean, I was just thinking, I'm going to raid the Sons of Horus, and I'll just leave it there, thanks. Bane Strike Bolter, thanks ever so much.
Oh, well,
I suppose they've got while you're there at the Imperial Fist HQ, you've got lovely
Elastus Assault Cannon.
You've got the Elastus Assault Cannon, so just replace your bolter with something that's infinitely better.
Solarite Power Gauntlets.
Strength 10, AP1.
Yeah.
Thumper.
Teleport Strike. So terminated squads may be given Deep Strike for 25 points. Any model of the Legion Astartes Imperial Fist and
you could really abuse this.
May be given the Deep Strike rule for 20 points per model. Yeah.
You really could. You could end up with
Storm Shields coming at your wazoo.
Goodness me, you could make a proper list of evil here without breaking a sweat.
I don't know if you could, because you only take 2 of these oaths.
Yeah, but if you think about it, you could combine things that were never previously considered combinable.
Unthinkable.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you're right. You wouldn't get any other oaths, but you could tool up your army with some serious gear.
Do you get those Legatine axes?
Oh, yes, Legatine axes.
Oh, yes. But the problem with the Legatine axes is that only characters can take them. And it's only the
independent characters. It's only independent characters, yeah.
So it's only the Suzerain that can take them because they're a special unit with them, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah. and their characters as well. But yeah, you're right. Otherwise, there'd be just too many of those AP2 axes.
Just rolling around.
You give them that
you
other
have
thing. So they're strength 8 AP2 axes at initiative.
The Dark Angel's got all that plasma nonsense.
Yeah,
That's
everybody
fairly-
else is pretty much. I mean, I think I'm just
Let's
trying
have a
to
look
get
at the old Heretic book.
have a look at the World Eaters. Their list. They've got some fun. I think there's Phalanx Blades or something they're called.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
about right. Definitely
There's
Phoenix Blades.
definitely some
isn't there?
cool war gear out there.
Let's have a look. World Eaters.
Oh,
How
Armory of the World Eaters.
how many
There
we
we
got
go.
left? We've got 2 left and a carrot.
Sorry, Mr. B. Well,
That's all right.
You've
He's look at that,
unlocked
giving us the old hurry up. Flipping heck.
Right.
People don't pay for this content, you know.
Any of the independent characters in Legion Astartes World Eaters special rules that must have Psycho subtype may upgrade to Berserk for 20 points.
Hold on, just to go.
That's
Phalanx
from the
Blades.
armory.
If you're gonna raid any armory, Phalanx Blades. Listen to this. Strength +1.
Mhm.
So strength 5. AP 5. Oh no, that's terrible. They are specialist weapons.
Where are they?
They're in the World Eaters cadre weapons.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Um,
it's on the wrong page.
Specialist weapon, rending 4+, duelist edge. So if they're in a challenge,
Yeah.
you're on +1 initiative. But the rending 4+, I mean, on a 4+, they're causing a wound to a dreadnought at AP2.
Yeah.
So yeah, 20 guys with them. That'll learn you.
That'll ruin your day, won't it? Every day
Yeah.
of the week.
It does exchange a chainsword. So if you've got a chainsword, 15 points, you can get Phalanx Blade. So they're not cheap, to be fair.
No, but you
They're
know,
not.
15
Yeah.
points to do 4+ rending on
Yeah, that's interesting.
78 times.
With 2 Phalanx Blades. So yeah, specialist. So you get an extra attack. So yeah, I don't know. It's quite an expensive thing. Any model would need an independent character or character. Yeah.
Thousand Suns, they get the bolt cannons are all crap actually, aren't they? Yeah, they don't get any cool stuff. Oh, they have got some cool stuff. They got the ethers,
Yeah, but I think Mr.
The
B
Force
mentioned
Swords.
you'd have to have the Psycho thing to kind of use their cool stuff.
I don't know if you do.
You don't need to, but you really should.
Yeah, you actually know you do with the Akia Force weapons, you do, yeah.
Oh, we kill ball weapons, yeah, but like the bolters, the Viking bolters, I don't think you need to.
No, you don't. Place. I'm just thinking some of those swords are actually pretty damn useful. Because then, make them +2 strength.
Okay.
So, because a force more's +2 anyway, so it'd make it plus. So you'd be doubling people out on the.
So here's a
Yeah.
question: is this
Awesome.
better than the rewards of treason stuff for the Alpha Legion?
I don't
No.
think so. And the reason why is just looking at the Phalanx Blades, for example, only Rampagers as a unit can take them as a unit. So with the rewards of treason, for example, you could have 3 of them.
You get the unit, don't you?
You get the unit, not
yeah,
the upgrade. So
not the
that makes sense.
not the little way, not the guns.
I mean, there are some cool things, like you say, being able giving yourself access to, assault cannons, for example, super useful. But yeah,
Graviton Maul from the
Oh yeah,
Iron Warriors.
and also the Iron Warriors, their bolters that do pinning,
Oh, the shred thing as well. They are
Yeah,
shrapnel
the
rods.
shrapnel bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the range is slightly less, but pinning bolters is super useful.
So there
very useful.
are some options for that, but it is super situational as to what you're going to want to.
Yeah. And like I say, quite a lot of thinking, that's awesome. And you realise it's independent characters only, so it's not quite so cool. Okay.
Shall we move on to spoils of victory, Chris?
Oh, I know. Yeah. Spoils of victory. Under this oath, 2 units lose the ability to make a sweeping advance instantly out in the bin. However, any unit that previously couldn't form a sweeping advance, excluding units like Cataphracts Terminators, as they are explicitly listed as exceptions, gains the ability to score 1 victory point on a roll of 4+ if they secure some valuable loot. No,
I was
in
getting
the bin.
excited up to
In
the 4+.
the bin.
I mean, I can see it actually, because I mean, victory points are hard to come by in some games, right? But you're right. You're probably going to get 1 victory point for killing them anyway. in some
And it's
games.
one less unit to worry about.
And it's a 4+. So yeah, exactly. It's one less unit. I mean, there's always that chance, right? And I did this at an event probably a year ago. I had one chaplain left, and he did one wound and killed one model. And then that 10-man squad failed their leadership test, and I caught them and killed them in a sweeping advance. And that was just one wound.
It is a beautiful
It's a
thing when it
lottery.
happens. It's an absolute beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm okay, thanks. I think I'll pass.
Yep. Nice.
Meh.
So the next one, the Taint of Chaos, which Xenos.
Taint of Xenos.
Which sounds like a particular type of film that Mr. B would watch.
We don't go onto those sites. We don't talk about those.
It's a poor choice of words, I fear. Your army is
it's neither in or there, is it?
Literally,
Anyway.
this is writing itself. Your army is delving into forbidden xenotech to boost their firepower with a range of new weapon options. So you've got Xenos Halo Blades rather. Power weapons can be swapped for these, offering strength +3, AP3, but they are two-handed, so you lose an attack. Combined with +1 strength from the Broken Helix, allowing you to ID instant death Tumpers 4 models at initiative. That is true. Ideal against Marines and cause significant damage to Terminators with some luck. However, if not exploiting strength ID 2, power models might be a better option due to the higher hit rate and ability to wound Marines on a 2+. Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah.
Xenos Deathlocks, these can be replaced plasma guns and Nemesis bolters, 18-inch range, strength 6, AP4, assault 2, with defligate and lethal exposure.
We'll look at lethal exposure at the end because that covers the two blocks as well. So
generally, these are less effective compared to alternative. Combi Volkites, for example, are the same, hit harder at close range, don't risk harming your own world. Plasma guns and Nemesis bolters are much better than Deathlocks.
Yeah.
Due to their AP2 and also Nemesis bolters 60-inch range with pinning, rending 5+, and sniper. I don't know why you would swap those out.
Yeah, the Doom locks I think are better.
Let's have a look at a Doom lock. Give me a sec.
Xenos Doomlock. Now they were an absolutely cracking early 90s.
Really good
speed metal.
They kind of did that speed metal shoegazer crossover that they were at the time. Very popular. But yeah, and unfortunately, I think one of them was actually caught in performing on the film of Taint of Xenos. That was
career.
Okay.
Career done.
Okay.
There's going to be a wiki somewhere about all these fictional bands.
Yes, there is.
If there isn't, I'm disappointed.
We should create one. Yeah. The Doom locks, plasma pistols that can be exchanged for. Oh yes, you, Chris, please.
Just very quickly. There's a whole documentary about All Out Power Fist, so just saying.
Just out there, we're waiting for Netflix to pick it up.
The dream.
We did try and get our sister to listen to it actually when we were away on holiday. Anyway, Xenos Doomlocks plasma pistols can be exchanged for these, which are 9-inch range, strength 6, AP4, pistol 2, defligate and lethal exposure, which I think was the follow-up to Lethal Weapon. And again,
I think
some
lethal
tanks were involved.
Is the Pornhub version, I think.
I think you're probably right. Yes. Okay. Slightly better than plasma pistols due to the extra shot, but the increased strength over the Volkite Serpenta might justify the cost, especially since Serpenta doesn't harm your own models. Okay, so lethal exposure. So this is the thing: when you fire this weapon on a D6, if it's less than or equal to the number of Xenos weapons in the unit, it suffers a wound that ignores all saves and damage mitigation. So, on these weapons, the unit must roll D6.
So if you've got 1 in the unit, if you roll anything more other than a 1, you're okay. Yeah. But if you roll 1, it's just add
less than or equal to the number of Xenos weapons in the unit. So if you had 6 Xenos weapons in the unit, it'd be fine. But if you had 2, you wouldn't be fine, would you?
No. It's thematic, but it is, as Chris says, just that.
They're not all that good, are they? Really, I'm not quite sure what the benefit of them is.
The blade is +3 strength AP3.
I think it's the modelling
I'll take that.
opportunity. To be fair,
Yeah.
Graham, I think it's the modelling opportunity that these offer you.
That's what they said to people to get them on lethal exposure as well.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
modelling
absolutely. That's what
opportunity.
that was the line that Mr. B used to entice people into his web of Xenos-based
Erotic. Let's just put it out there.
entertainment films.
Yeah.
Empire that he built from that point. Okay. Anyway, that's over to you, Mr. B.
This whole podcast is just a money laundering exercise for
Totally
that
is,
whole
right.
enterprise.
That whole enterprise, absolutely.
The weapons of destruction.
Yes, please.
Weapons of destruction. I quite like this one. This is definitely an interesting one for a modelling opportunity, and I think it's not all that bad. So your units are basically 2 strapped for cash to afford bolters. So they basically, after choosing any weapon options, including combi, Volkites, you must replace all bolters and bolt pistols with one of the following strength-free AP- weapons. Auto pistol with a 12-inch range, and that's pistol 2. Auto rifle or las gun with a 24-inch range, pistol 2. Las carbine with an 18-inch range, pistol 2, AP6. A shotgun with 12-inch range, pistol 2, concussive 1, or a stub carbine with 12-inch range and pistol 3. And any model or independent character who has both a bolter and a bolt pistol can trade in their bolter for a heavy stubber, which is 36-inch range, strength 4, AP6, assault 3. And I don't think there's actually any real drawback to this because you get your range firepower is pretty good for most units. Auto pistols and auto rifles and las guns, they've got a better rate of fire. So, okay, yeah, it's not as strong, but more shots.
Why am I switching out my Fury of the Legion bolters for Fury of the Legion las guns?
Well, I don't think pistol 2 counts as a close combat weapon, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
So you could get you kind of get an auto extra attack, I think. So you've got a bolt pistol and a bolter, right? Marines normally.
Yeah.
You replace it for a auto pistol and a stub carbine. Both have got the pistol rule, which means they both count as close combat weapons. I think I was trying to work that out myself, Chris. That's the only thing I can think of.
Shotguns with concussive for
I'll check.
That's pretty decent.
You have a bolt pistol and a combat knife anyway, don't you? So you have 2.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. Yeah,
It's wild.
Yeah, you don't. You get a bolter and a bolt pistol. That's all you get. And that's. Let me just check on the pistol rule because I think it's in the weapon types, isn't it? Which is hidden somewhere.
Yeah, you have to buy an extra close combat weapon.
Yeah.
But you've got stub carbines is a higher rate of fire with pistol 3, but despoilers, assault squads, veteran squads with shotguns getting that concussive. I don't think that's too bad myself.
I am gonna need some serious convincing on this. If I'm honest.
So
here's some things you can shoot.
But I mean, tactical squads essentially can dual wield las guns and stub carbine.
No, that's fine. I appreciate that, but I can spend 1 point on a bayonet and still keep.
Well, here's the thing: you can. So pistols, you can shoot them and they can still charge with them. Obviously, so that's something you can't do with a bolt gun. And secondly, to be fair, you just use your bolt pistol. You're quite right. But yeah, they count as close combat weapons. So you can. In addition, all models with 2 pistol type weapons can attack with both in the same shooting phase.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can dual wield las guns and stub carbines.
Yeah. And get an extra close combat attack.
Now, I did the math, and admittedly, I'm crap at math, so I might have got it wrong. But I think unless you're using Fury of the Legion, dual las guns are going to outperform bolters at most ranges.
Let's have a look.
I
range
think
2,
that's
pistol
going to be
2.
the case.
What's the strength of it? It's not very high.
Strength 3. Strength 3.
So you're wounding on against the marine. You're wounding on 5s, though. Remember.
Yeah.
You're doing.
But you're getting
potentially
shot
4.
Auto rifle, las gun. That's 2. That's 4 shots in total from that.
Yeah. I don't know if the math because you'll be wounding on 2s, on 3s rather than winning
I
on
think
4s.
stub
Winning on
carbine
5s rather than
against toughness 4 targets. I think dual stub carbines will be better than bolters
Okay, interesting.
because
We'll have to see what's
that is 6 shots.
But it's kind of giving you a free close combat weapon. But you're right,
Yeah.
Chris. You could spend 2 points on a chainsword and all would be good at it.
5 points for a chainsaw. To be fair.
Oh, is it? What, per model?
Per model, yeah.
It's 2 for veterans, so that's weird. But yeah, cool. Okay.
I think with chainsaw style, they have shred.
They do. You're right.
Yes.
I can see it being quite kind of funny but who's going to want to remodel their stuff and chuck Imperial, Imperial Guard weapons on there? Not me, let me tell you.
I just think it'd be hilarious to have a bunch of Marines doing the Rambo with the dual.
I kind of got visions of Thor Ragnarok with Carl Urban's character and
Oh, yeah,
M16s.
Hold my stuff.
Yeah, basically. Okay, let's do the one and only unique character.
Yes, the one. I don't know. Did they get another one with? I can't. I don't know if they got another one with the new Mars book, but I haven't had a good look.
I'll have a good look. Give me 1 second.
But yeah, so
Talk through this then, Mr. B.
Oh, you want me to talk through that? Okay, Endred Har. So the Riven Hound, Praetor of the Blackshields, the Fang of the Emperor, and he's basically down there to throw down and get serious. He's got a stat line basically the same as a standard Praetor. Toughness 5, battle hardened 1, and a hatred for world eaters. I would not want to be facing him too often.
He's got a character. Sorry.
Yes, he did. He's got an architect pistol. Oh yeah, a book about the Mechanicum Civil War, and the only characters added are all space marines.
Don't get me started.
I know. Architect pistol is kind of average. Ballistic skill 4, but his terawatt pattern power gauntlet is where he shines. It's essentially a power fist with brutal 2 and charged attack, giving him strength 12 hits, but he does halve his attacks. So that is pretty nasty. He's also got Warlord trait, which gives him scout to up to 3 infantry units. So you could put up some interesting first turn removers, like some scouted Volkite breachers in a land raider dedicated transport. And in melee combat, he's basically got a Thunderhammer. He's got toughness 6, because unless he's facing something like a Leviathan Siege Drill or a Knight, he's going to be immune to instant death in most situations. And anything smaller than a Contemptor, and he's just going to punch it to death. And he can take down Abaddon. He could handle Abaddon, I think. Only got a 2+, 4++ save. Yeah, I think that is pretty tasty. And he doesn't have any preset oaths either, so pretty much everything except in disgrace all equal, he can take anything. So yeah, that's a really nice one. So that's a really cool thing.
He's got a lot of stuff going definitely on the pluses for him.
I've seen a couple of suggestions. So with Eternity of War, you can scout him directly onto enemies, avoiding the vulnerabilities of being out of combat. So that's kind of handy. You can basically get them more or less getting into combat first turn. Pride is our armor. You can take Heart of the Legion veterans with combi weapons or Armory of Desperation tacticals with dual stub
won't give you scout?
No, he gets scout.
Oh, I see. Yes, right.
Yeah, he scouts free.
Isn't scout everybody has to have it rule?
No. Oh, in the unit, yeah, but he gives it to 3 units.
I see. Very cool. Yeah.
So he gives 3 infantry unit scouts, including a dedicated transport. So yeah, you could deploy Heart of the Legion veterans with combi weapons or Armory of Desperation tacticals with dual stub carbines, getting them to within 12-inch range of objectives to just sort of smash down the fire.
Yeah,
with a nice. So I think that's kind of handy.
Very good. Yep, I wouldn't disagree.
So yeah, so that is the list. What they have. So I think they've got quite a decent amount of stuff in there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't disagree.
I think they've got some interesting rules. I think you do some cool stuff. Endred Har is definitely a big old
Oh,
bonus in the
unit.
end.
Has he got a model? He has, hasn't he?
He has.
Yeah. He's the
Came out
lad
a
now.
couple of months ago. We've spoken about him before, but not in too much detail with his rules and stuff. So
Cool. All righty. Well, there we go. So that's the Blackshields. What's our general impression? I kind of like them. I think there's some cool stuff there. I think there might be some jiggery pokery with some rules that are just going to come out over time, probably as people use them more. But overall, it would have been nice to maybe see some specific units. But I think they kind of got around that by adding all of these many oaths and what have you to try and give you some flavour. So as a thing, I think it's quite a lot of effort in there. They're not all amazing, but they're not all terrible either. There's a couple that are probably a little bit better than the others, but overall I thought it was quite well balanced. Nothing too terrifying.
I think it's going to be one of those things where
not like Shattered Legions, which is broken as anything.
Gosh, it's just an absolute headache.
Yeah.
I think
Every time I go to look at it, I'm just like, no, I need to.
Yeah.
I need
So I think this is cool. I'm going to do a Blackshields army. I've decided. I've got models to do it, so I think that'll be my next Legion army to do.
One day,
I quite like this.
Not anytime soon.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So, shall we? How did we interpret this in terms of our list building challenge? As always, everybody's favourite part of the show.
Okay, it's time for that bit of the show that everybody seems to inexplicably love, the list challenge, where we basically come up with a list that we think might be interesting, and we score this based on how fun it would be to play with or against, its effectiveness on the battlefield, in our opinion, and of course the cost, which is much more interesting these days now that we've got so much plastics. So, how about we start with who's ready to go first?
Yes, I'm totally
Graham
ready.
goes first. I'm just doing my final bit of maths. So.
Okay,
Graham's going to go first then.
Well, I have some. So obviously, we're talking about Blackshields, and we're talking about their backstory. I wrote a story, an award-winning story. I hasten to add, according to Crusader Heresy, of a short list of probably one, for this group called the Pale Host, which. When I was thinking about Blackshields, sort of sparked my imagination. And so ultimately the backstory for these guys is they're that kind of pirate-like, but not the Jack Sparrow pirate-like. So these were a set of Iron Warriors and White Scars, and kind of on the far fringes. And they've been, before the kind of heresy, they were pursuing or in battle with Dark Eldar, whatever they're called,
Drukhari,
as they're called now. And they were basically, pushing them back, and the Drukhari were raiding and stuff. And they've been got plague in the system. So initially the Iron Warriors were sent there, obviously not the best tactical matchup. So then the White Scars came along and worked with the Iron Warriors, and they formed, a close bond between the legions. And when the order came that they should take up arms against each other, they rebelled at that point. And Gilcrux, who was the commander, has basically been trying to, the kind of goal of the Pale Host is to accumulate enough equipment and ships and stuff so they can just get as far away from the Imperium as possible. That's their whole motivation. So they're kind of roving around this sector, basically capturing people and selling them on to the Drukhari for sport. So they're not particularly honourable types, but they're doing what they have to do. And they've only been taking stuff from the War Master, to be fair. But anyway, so that was the backstory. So this is the army that I put together for them. So HQ, so this would be Commander Gilcrux himself. So he's a Praetor from the White Scars. So he's got obviously artificer armor, heavy bolter. He's on a scimitar jet bike, so he's got a heavy bolter.
Nice.
I've also given him the cool combo of a Paragon Blade and a Thunder Hammer, because we know how super effective that can be.
Absolutely.
It's expensive. I mean, it's not a cheap model by any stretch of the imagination. 210 points he rocks in at. But he's on the bike. He's got Heavy Bolter. He's also got Paragon Blade and
Nice.
the jet bikes. I've given him the Forgotten Hero Warlord trait because I figured he was like this charismatic leader, and so he would have that impact on the people around him.
That makes sense.
So not for game reasons, but for sort of theme reasons, I gave him that. I've got a retinue with him. So this is a retinue also on Scimitar jet bikes. So there's pretty cool because they always get 2+ saves, and they're the chosen warriors. Standard bearer, so the unit becomes scoring, as well as they're better against pinning tests and stuff. I can't remember what the exact rule is. I'll have a look in a second. So yeah, standard bearer on a bike, Legion standard. What does it do? Yeah. Units within 6 of the friendly unit with a standard are considered to have a leadership characteristic of 10 when resolving morale checks and pinning checks. So pretty good. And then I've got 7 chosen on bikes. They've got heavy bolters on the bikes because that's what you can take. You can't give them upgrades like you can on the others.
Yeah.
And I've given them combat shields and power lances. So
Nice.
I know you like a lance on a bike. So yeah, strength +1 AB3 melee of each one.
Good.
So yeah, although it's not AP2, and you can't get AP2 with it, they do go before them, and they are wounding on 3s against Marines rather than 2 and 4s. So pretty cool unit, I think. Super quick, obviously on bikes. And then I've got another. I've got a Centurion. He's an armistice with a las cannon. Guess where he's going to be going? He's going to be going with a 10-man las cannon squad, which would have been the Iron Warriors part of the contingency. But yeah, I thought about the Master Signals. And I thought, actually, no, Armistice is pretty good. He still comes with a Cognos Signum. So that's kind of, that gives them all the advantages of night vision and stuff like that. So definitely worth doing. And of course, if he doesn't shoot, he can boost the ballistic skill of the heavy support squad if he wants to in the shooting phase. When it comes to reactions, all of them can fire the las cannons. So you get 11 las cannons in the face if you try to charge them. Those are my 2 HQs. And then for elites, so I've basically gone for the Oath of Vengeance. I've gone for Panoply of Old, so I'm going to take Iron Warriors gear, and I've gone Pride is our armor, so I've gone for that kind of Pride of the Legion thing. So my troops choices are none. I don't have any troops, but I have got 3 veteran squads. So these veteran squads have got a Rhino with the Dozer Blade, so they can get around the board and get out onto objectives. They've got bolt guns, they haven't got bolt guns, sorry, they've got shrapnel bolters. So that's from the Panoply of the Old. So they've all got these pinning bolters. And of course, they've got Heart of the Legion, Pride of the Legion, and Line. So, people can't charge them. They can overwatch with a load of pinning shots, which hopefully be good. And then so that's another kind of Iron Warrior-esque unit. Then back to the sort of White Scars balance, we've got some javelins. So I've got 3 javelins. One with las cannons, 2 with las cannons and multi-melters, and 1 with the Cyclone missile launcher and heavy bolters. And then I've got 2 Scorpiuses. So we're back to 2 Sabres, apologies, spoiler alert. I've given these Sabres all the Volkite in the world. So I thought a nice little swift tank, which would have been the White Scars. The javelins, of course, are from the White Scars. And these guys have got a load of Volkite, so they're there to deal with some horde units while just filling them full of Volkite, which we know can be super effective. And the Sabres are very, very quick and useful in that regard, just zipping around the board. And then heavy support squad, of course, we've got a 10-man las cannon squad, the obligatory 10-man las cannon squad. I've given the Sergeant Artificer armor in this case because it's a las cannon squad, and I kind of like to keep it alive. One's got a nuncio box and one's got an augury scanner as well, just as a bit of backup for the armistice. 2 Scorpiuses, again, classic Iron Warriors. Really useful unit, the Scorpius. You can hide it. You can then range over and shoot other people's las cannon squads. They can't shoot you back because they can't see you. And that's why I put the nuncio box on the las cannon squad, because they're going to be kind of looking at stuff. But I need something to re-roll that. And then I've got 3 Vindicators. because part of the story is about them trying to get hold of some Vindicators. So they've got 3 Vindicators now with the las cannons, dozer blades and searchlights. So that is the unit. And also, for a little nod back to Iron Warriors, I've got a defense line in there, which is actually super useful. I've got a lot of vehicles there.
Yeah.
5+ cover save for anything behind a defense line, including vehicles.
Yeah.
So it makes them a little bit more survivable.
Yeah.
So yeah, the idea basically is a lot of stuff going forward. Veterans getting on the objectives and dealing with things. They'll be pretty useful, I think, in dealing with stuff. They've got a lot of wounds. They're dealing out quite a bit of damage, but not crazy numbers. And the javelins and the sabers whizzing around, causing bother where they can find it. Still all backed up with some serious firepower in the Vindicators, las cannon squad, and Scorpiuses. And that is me. So yeah, that is the Pale Host.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Who wants to go next?
You go next, Mr. B.
Okay, right. My list is basically, I was thinking they are veterans of the Thousand Sons who have basically were sent away. Some of the ones who were sent away by Magnus during the before the Battle of Prospero, and then basically when he called them back, they were like, "No, we're gonna work for ourselves." And that's basically their dig. They're off out to try and figure out what's going on. So they are using Legacy of Nicaea and Thousand Sons Panoply of Old. So that's where I've gone. And we have starting off with a just get the list up here. The slightly easier to read. We've got a Praetor with the Forgotten Hero Warlord trait, because again, I like that. It just seems very thematic. And he's got twin lightning claws and a grenade harness, and he's a psyker with what's it called, Pyre type from the Thousand Sons. And he's got a command squad with him who have got a Land Raider. And the command squad are all in Cataphractii armor, obviously, standard bearer, and 2 of them have Volkite combi weapons, and they all have a lightning claw. And 2 of them have just got standard combi bolters. Then we've got a librarian in Tartarus armor with telepathy. He's got a force maul and a Magna combi weapon with a disintegrator.
Okay, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Then in the elites, we've got a Contemptor Dreadnought, which has got a Gravis plasma cannon and a Kerry's assault cannon, and that's in a drop pod. Because you don't see enough Dreadnought drop pods these days.
For good reason.
Or any, in fact.
Then there's a squad of Tartarus Terminators in a Dreadclaw, and these have all got thunder hammers and combi plasma guns. Okay. And we've got one with a one with a ether fire blaster as a heavy weapon, and the sergeant has a Kia force maul, and he's a psyker, obviously.
Yeah. So unpleasantness generally.
Mm.
Yeah. In the troops, I've gone with a bit of copy and paste. I've got 3 20-man tactical squads who are all identical. They all have their sergeant is in artificer armor. He has and he has an Achaea force weapon and is a psyker. And the entire squad are all armed with Asphyx bolters. And we've got an augury scanner and a Legion Vexelia in there, and they've all got chain swords as well. So to give them the extra attack. So I think the Achaea bolters are. I think they're worth it. Okay. So you remember what they do?
No,
they. Oh no, it has to.
I will go and grab the. I've got it here. Achaea bolter is. Where is it again? Achaea bolter is. I lost it. Managed to lose it. Okay, the Ikea bolter is Aspect's bolter. Sorry, not Ikea bolter. Aspect's bolter is strength 4, AP 5, rapid fire with shred,
and they have a reduced range as well.
Yep, slightly reduced range.
Red bolters.
Shred bolters, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then in the fast attack squad section, we've got a single javelin squadron, just a single javelin with 2 las cannons and a multi-melter. In heavy support, we've got a 10-man heavy support squad with ether fire cannons, and the sergeant is obviously a psyker. And they've got an augury scanner, and then we've got a 5-man las cannon squadron with an augury scanner and a psyker on the captain, but no power weapon to go with that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's what I've gone with. And whilst I don't think it's going to win any tournaments, I think it's I don't think it's too bad.
No,
fair enough.
So what would be your plan with that particular? How would you go about dismantling it?
Pretty much using the tacticals and the heavy support squads as your good old fashioned what's the word I'm looking for here? Gunline, and then dropping in your 2 drop pods from reserve, and driving up the board with the Praetor and his boyfriend squad. Whilst the javelin hopefully can deep strike or come on and start taking out some of that heavy armor with its multi-melter and las cannon. Although, yeah, there's a distinct shortage of anti-armor in there, but I figure they're not going to have access to the best of the stuff. So let's for the reasons of the fluff, let's hamstring them a little.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
No,
but I like the idea of all the aspects, the aspects bolters and the and just the psychic shenanigans that might be going on there.
Yeah.
So, yep.
That's what I've done. Works for me. Lovely. So I guess that just leaves me. Right. So prevailing theory of this army, or prevailing narrative element. So these are formerly, still loyalist Marines that were psychically talented and were discarded by their legion. And
here we go. This is going to be bloody Imperial Fist with a load of 3+ invulns.
It's not that specific. I was going to take the panoply. I did think about it, but I went for the oaths I've taken. So I've taken the Nicaea oath.
Yep.
And I've always also taken the Eternal Vengeance oaths.
Okay.
So
you pick a
legion, and then that's the one you hate. Which I have chosen as the Space Wolves.
Of course, yeah.
As my
well, I mean that's given,
because they're the ones that are basically sort of the most vehemently against psychically attuned people. So although they are broadly loyalists, should they come across Space Wolves, they will have some strong opinions about that.
Gotcha.
I did think about going down the Thousand Suns route as them being sort of the cause of Magnus being more the cause of Nicaea, but I liked the idea of them being begrudging against the people on their side.
Yes, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Good idea.
Not the reason, but the cause of the problem. So let's just bring up the old. There we go. So I have got HQ is a librarian.
Yep.
He has the pyromancy choice from his psychic power.
Yep.
He's bog standard. He's got a force weapon. He does have a psychic hood, so that should they come across anything psychery, like the Thousand Suns, they are at a disadvantage when fighting against this particular individual. My second choice is an esoterist.
Ooh.
Because
now that's getting fun.
Because they're both loyalists and traitors. So that gives them access. That gives them access to exactly summoning, which is, I think, right up their street at this point. They're just going, well, to hell with it. This is what we could do. And I have a chaplain who I've made a psyker via the Nikia, and I paid the 25 points to make him to give him biomancy as well.
Okay, gotcha.
Because chaplains with biomancy, that's got to be no end of fun. He also has a thunderhammer and a jump pack.
Okay.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Elites. I have a squad of 8 Tartarus Terminators, all with thunderhammers, and that is it. They are just Tartarus running around with thunderhammers. I have 2 Contemptors.
Can Tartarus take thunderhammers as a whole unit? Because I know Cataphracta can't, can they? Or can they?
They can.
Let me just double check. Yeah.
No,
Cataphracta can.
You're right. Actually, I'm talking nonsense. Sorry, Chris. Carry on.
Doubt myself.
I doubted myself as soon as I said it. So we're good.
So 2 Contemptors. One with a chain fist and a melter cannon, and one with 2 power fists with flamers.
Okay.
So you notice that the Tartarus squad is only made up of 8 as opposed to 10. That's because the 2 Tartarus guys that died are locked in the Contemptor suits.
Oh, nice.
I like it.
I then have, for my first demonic intervention, a squad of 5 brutes.
Probably the better of the things you can summon.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, these are basically the way I picture the esoterist is using his abilities to summon to make up for the shortfall that they have in troops in Marines.
Okay.
So it's a necessity as opposed to a want, as it were. So they need 5. They can't get any more sort of Terminator equivalent armor. So what's the best thing to do? Oh, we'll summon some demons that are on
Pretty
that
hard.
kind of in that wheelhouse. I then have 2 assault squads because you know me, there's always going to be 2 assault squads. One with 13 and one of 15. I then have a support squad with all melter guns. That's 7 in that squad.
Oh, yeah.
All melter bombs. I then have 2 20 individual demon squads, just lesser demons.
Yeah.
Because they take out the troops choice. So 2 of those. And then in my heavy support, I have 2 things, which one is a Charybdis.
Yep.
And one is a 10-man Lascan squad. Gotcha. And that is my 3,000 points. So the Tartarus Terminators obviously going in the Charybdis to get them on the field.
Yep.
Somewhere useful. Probably with the librarian with them, esoterist. Oh, sorry, and I have a company command squad. I do apologize. Hiding there, and that's who's rolling around with the esoterist to give him some bullet magnets, and they have a company standard.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's kind of my. I've tried to be. Although I have like there's a lot of Terminators, there's two Dreadnoughts. I didn't want to have too many vehicles. I don't want them to be resource rich necessarily. So that's why there's only one vehicle in the whole list. They don't have those resources, which is why they're turning to sort of the Easter Terrorist, who was perhaps once a librarian, is now just going fine. We'll just start utilizing the warp to fill in the gap that we can't utilize ourselves.
Makes sense.
Very good.
Century.
So, how would you play this bad boy?
Basically, it's going to be the Chris Mills Classic. That's how it's
run at the enemy screaming.
Run at the enemy, drop the Charybdis in, use the demons with their breaking the veil to get up close and personal as well.
Yeah, but I mean, from my experience of recently playing this, the only problem you might have is
there's several.
There are several. One of them is that the Easter Terrorist is a massive target.
Yeah,
you've got a 12-man squad or whatever with him. So, how big?
It's only a basic 4-man.
Okay, got you.
So
the good thing about demons though is you can put the summoning thing 12 inches away from him, and then the demons when they turn up can move and charge.
Yeah,
and brutes are pretty good.
Yeah, I would have
Only
gone.
Problem is they get intercepted, and if you've got anybody with an augury scanner, as I found out the other day, they laugh in autocannon at you, regrettably. So yeah, it is a thing. But yeah, I get what you're saying. So
what was I gonna say? Brain's gone now. Anyway. But yeah, I was going to try. I would have had possessed if I could have had possessed to make up the lesser demon slot, but they're not in the Demons of the Ruinstorm list, and that's the only one you can choose from. So
it is, and you're somewhat limited as well because you can only take brutes, beasts, and the normal lesser demons.
Yeah, it's only HQ, only elites and troops you can choose from, and like I said, that's a fairly shabby. Selection.
The real cool demon stuff is in the HQs and the heavy support things with the like demon sovereigns and whatnot, who are proper nasty.
I mean, the brutes aren't a slouch, but they
aren't slouch. I mean, they've got AP3 brutal 2,
and they're modelled with the hammers as well. So, which is why another reason why I went for the thunder hammers on the Terminators to say that.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, and they on a 6 they're AP2 as well. So
yeah, they are super cool.
Yeah, not bad. But yeah, they're what demonic? Because you can give them a like a demon. Are they corn?
Was it the Encroaching Ruin? I think. No. Heedless Slaughter. That's
Heedless Slaughter.
Yeah.
Got you.
So that's because I've only got one mode of thought, and
that would be it.
That would be it. But so that was
that's a good story. I enjoy that.
Yeah,
it's cool. Okay, so let's start with our favourite section, Battlefield Effectiveness.
Is it fun to play with first, or
fun to play with? Fun to play with. You're right. Yeah.
I
think out of the two,
I'm gonna prefer to play with Chris's out of your two. I'm afraid, Graham.
Well, there's a surprise, Mr. B. But
in general, I think
would not disagree with you.
The demons are going to be fun.
The demons do add an element of unpredictability.
I think the amount of fun you'll get out of this list wouldn't go past turn 2, turn 3 max, because at that point, against anyone with a sensible list, you're gonna really start to see the holes in it fairly rapidly.
If you don't get that the reserve role, for example, you're going to struggle quite a bit there because there's a fair few points in. But I think that's in terms of, because it's got a bit of variety in there and it's not something you see every day, I think it's got a good story. I think I would agree with that. Out of the two, I think Chris is less generic than the Summit. I mean, yours is good because you've got a good backstory there, Mr. B. But I think Chris edges that one.
I agree.
Effectiveness,
probably you, if I'm honest. Yeah, I think there's enough about it.
There's a lot in there actually. I just sort of went back through it and thought, okay, there's
Graham's got a lot going on.
Yours is the most sensible
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
It's more balanced.
Yeah, you cover the bases. It's gonna do a job. The legions that you're using are utilized.
I'd be interested to see how they get on with the bikes, because the jetpacks aren't as good as they were. I'm hoping that making them a command squad rather than using the Sky Hunter squad gives them that. He's got a 2+ armor save and 2 wounds, so they're a little bit more survivable. But yeah, we shall see. I think it'd be quite an interesting thing. So it's like combining some heavy fire with some fast units to try and charge in there and cause some bother. The veterans are expensive, and there are not many of them. But as a troops choice, they could probably hold their own, and they're in Rhino, so I could move them about.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think okay, cool, thank you. And what about cost? Because this was not cheap. I mean, I have a lot of resin in that list, so mine comes in at a eye-watering. If you went to Warhammer and you wanted to buy this army, I've added like £30 on for bits that I can't find for upgrades, like single characters, to upgrade my HQ guy, for example, on the one of the bikes, because I've got 7, so I've got 8 bikes, and they come in boxes of 3. So the 9th one I'd use for the HQ guy, but I have to do some conversion on that and stuff like that. So it comes in at a eye-watering £1,145 if you were to buy that today.
Well, I wasn't a million miles behind you, which is actually, how am I? Glad I haven't got that. So no, scrap that. I'm well under you.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I've got sabers.
Yeah, no,
I've javelins resin. Fortunately, everything else though now Vindicators are plastic. I was using Mark III Marines because they're in 10s, so that's for the veterans and for the 3 and for the heavy support squad. And obviously you can buy the plastic las cannons now, which is great. But yeah, there is a fair old chunk of resin in there.
No, I originally in my list there was going to be a fire raptor, but that bit the dust.
You don't want to build one of them.
No, I don't want to build one of them. Defense line rhinos, there's a lot of
it gets expensive quickly. Mr. B, what was your total?
Mine comes in, and I'm going to have to do what Graham's done. I'm going to have to throw in 30 quid because I need thunder hammers and a few other bits and bobs. So if I say 699,
heck,
because
how have you managed to get to that kind of
most of it is plastic. The only problem I have
see you're working out this time.
I've got a Cataparatri squad for which I get the command squad plus the Praetor out of that.
Yep.
That's 57 quid. A Tartarus squad for the 5 Tartarus men I need, 57 quid.
Yeah.
I've gone for 4 packs of Mark 6 tacticals. So that's £210.
That's 20 in a model. It's 20 in a box, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, I need 4 of them. And I'll have 5 left over. Nice. I need a Contemptor, so that's 40 quid.
Yeah.
The Dread Claw is where it gets fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do some conversion work on a drop pod. Because it is the basis of the thing, but I'm going to have to do some stuff to make it.
I think people have turned the fins around, haven't they?
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people have done. That's £34. Heavy weapon upgrade set, which I need for the las cannons. And I'm going to use them to make the Aether fire. I'm going to use the Volkites to make the Aether fire.
Oh, yeah, good.
That's 29 quid. A Proteus, Land Raider Proteus is 57. A Librarian in Terminator armor, because, I don't think I can just make one out of Tartarus. So I'm just going to buy the standard Indomitus. He's going to be 25. And then a Javelin is 79. Plus, I need a Dreadnought drop pod, and that's 81 quid.
Very cool. Yeah, fair play. Nicely done. Cheap as chips. All right, very cool.
It is because it's just lucky that I get all the stuff in plastic now.
Yeah.
I come in at 890 odd quid because of the Charybdis and the Brute.
Yes.
And Chaplain Librarian is a terrorist.
To be honest, if I was doing yours, I would have gone more Nurgly themed and used the plastic Chaos Spawn.
I've done. Yeah, that's what I've got in Chaos. That's what I've got is the Chaos Spawn. Ones with the big wings.
Yep.
They're quite nice. But yeah, you've gone for the corn thing, so it's. I mean, it's not. I think until they bring out maybe plastic blood slaughterers, for example, you could probably, when if they ever make those, they might be a good option for brutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So honours even. It's a draw.
So
It is
absolute draw.
an exact draw. Okay,
Fantastic.
brilliant.
All right, very cool.
Okay,
All right.
shall we head in and do a close
Let's do
for the
it.
night? Yeah.
So thanks once again for dropping by to listen to our podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Interesting stuff with the Blackshields. It was good fun looking at that lead today. Some interesting bits and pieces. And again, I think the central theme that we've discovered is that there are options to make something pretty cool once you put your imagination.
Definitely,
to it, which is a nice thing to do. So if you did enjoy the show, please do leave us some reviews on iTunes or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And the links to all of this is in the show notes. So that will also be shared. If you want to give a Facebook page a like, if for no other reason, then we know that you're out there and that you're enjoying what we're doing. If you want to get in touch with us, you can post on our Facebook wall and we will try and reply to you as quick as we can. Or you can send a message on that account, or you can email us at info@edgeofempire.co.uk. And we shall definitely pick up the emails at some point. Like when you've been on holiday and you've just got a load of mail coming in. So we've got some good feedback, actually. I meant to mention this in the show, but we've asked for some list challenges. What people would like to see in list challenges. We've got some really cool things coming in there, so we'll be doing those in future shows. But if you've got any ideas for future list challenges or anything else you'd like to see on the show, please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll see what we can do. If you want to actually help the show out financially, of course, we have an affiliate link with Audible. So if you sign up through our website, you can get all your Heresy audiobooks through them, and that's $7.99 a month. So yeah, all the Black Library books are all on there, so you can tuck into your heart's content.
They also have a bunch of stuff also included in the subscription as well. Tomorrow they're adding a bunch of new recordings of the Lovecraft Cthulhu books, so that should be fun.
Oh, right, nice. If you want to actually support the show directly, you can, of course, become a patron, and you can listen to our take on, like for this month, for example, we've gone through the things that we've been watching and listening to and reading. So if you want some top tips from our multimedia experts that we are, and you can see what would recommend for people to watch who may have a slight heresy adjacent interest, you can become a patron of the show. And if you go to the Patreon site, you can sign up for that. Or you can just, if you don't want to commit to a patron, you can just throw a few dollars in our tip jar, which we're very grateful for. For the cost of a coffee, you could keep the lights on at Edge of Empire Towers for at least 2 or 3 minutes in our massive solar array that we currently are supporting for Mr. B's Bitcoin mining exercises. So yeah, you can do that on our Ko-fi. See, clever play on words there. Ko-fi, I think. And the link again is on the show notes. Also, you can help us out by going through our advert on our website to purchase your wargaming toys through Element Games. We have Element crystal codes. So if you put these in, you get double crystals and we get normal crystals. So it helps us keep up to date with buying all of these Blackshields armies that we're going to do after this. So if you put in Chris's code when you buy your Element Game stuff, it's CHR211. Mine is GRA2794, and Michael's is MIC440, page not found. We also have affiliate links with the Outpost as well. And again, there's links on our page for this, which is a great little friendly local game store in Sheffield. And a shout out to Different Not Less Models in Newcastle. Again, up and coming up and coming shop in the Newcastle area. Nice. Yeah, they're also doing a heresy campaign, a build-up campaign, starting at 500 points. So that's something, if you're in the area and you want to maybe haven't played heresy that might be a good place to start. In the next episode, what are we going to do, Mr. B? Shattered Legions, or are we going to do a general roundup first? And maybe
I think we're going to do a general roundup, and then the last thing to really cover, because before we start thinking about Shattered Legions, because I think that's going to be something that's going to take a lot of thinking about how we cover that, because it's complicated.
Okay,
It's super complicated.
We don't like complicated.
It's horrible. But we've got the last thing we've got to really cover before that is the Legions Auxilia.
Have we? Okay.
Yeah, which is the new rules to add Solar Auxilia to your
we can definitely do that.
to your thing, and because that's not much. There's just basically a set of rules for each.
Gotcha. I think we'll also maybe our next episode we might go back, and a popular episode that we did was the cheap challenge.
Oh yeah.
Oh
we
yeah.
haven't done one of these for a few years. Which is basically how can you make the cheapest viable Horus Heresy army. Mr. B is the undoubted king of this, so we'll be looking to see if we can dethrone him from his current perch and see if
should be a lot easier these days.
3,000 point army for less than £200. Can it be done?
Can it be done
without going to 3D printers, obviously? So yes,
£44 for a I suppose 20 for 44 quid these days.
Yeah, I mean, bear in mind, it has to be viable. It has to be viable.
A 3,000 point army for that is going to be knights.
That's
actually 3,000 point for that is custodies. Let me tell you.
The problem with knights is it's still quite expensive because you've got to buy armigers. You can't just buy 3 knights anymore. You've got to buy 6 armigers, and they're not cheap.
Cheapest Astartes list, and
cheapest list surely, because then it's custodians.
No, because then I can and then gentlemen.
Well, that's useful.
I'll take your points off of you now.
Well, let's do it, because I think just if people know if you want to start at a 3,000 point army and get in heresy, whatever is available out there now is viable. So
why don't we?
No spoiler alerts.
Why don't we, rather than do it as a competitive element, why don't one of us do Space Marines, someone do Solar Ox Militia?
Have you been drinking Mr. B's coffee? This is a sort of collaborative collaboration.
We're here to offer information. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, if it is.
So one of us does Astartes, one does Squishy Humans, and then someone can
would say Mechanicum, but the range isn't quite there yet.
Could possibly do that. So let's go with all right. Who wants to do Astartes?
I'll do Astartes.
Right.
No, actually, can I do Solar Orcs?
Okay, so you do Squishy Humans.
Cheapest useful Solar Ox army you can come up with, Mr. B.
When
you say useful, it doesn't have to be actually winnable, is it?
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be.
Otherwise, you could just do
effective.
You could just do 1 HQ and 2 troops and go, hey, that cost me 50 quid.
No, I mean it doesn't
3,000 points.
3,000 points, but because if you're asking for it, it has to be super effective. I'm just gonna
not super effective, but so you could play a game and not be
humiliated too badly.
Yeah, you have to have enough stuff in there to deal with dreadnoughts, Spartans, las cannons. Okay, so those are the three requirements that you have to be able to deal with.
Okay, fair enough.
Because that's pretty much what you're going to see, right? So yeah, it may not be the super cheapest, but it may be. It has to be viable, not competitive.
Yeah.
So
friendly game.
If you can't deal with 2 out of 3, that's probably okay. But at least one of those you would need to have a proper counter for.
Right, fair enough.
Sound good?
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, Mr. B's doing Squishy Humans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do, Chris? I don't mind.
I'm easy. I'm easy like a Sunday morning.
Easy like Sunday morning.
That's what your wife told us.
I shall do. So I'll give you a free pass on the. I'll do the Astartes, and you can do other.
Okay. That gives me a nice broad spectrum.
So you've got Mechanicum, Custodes,
Ruin Storm,
Demons.
Yeah, Demons. Yeah, that's fine. I can come up with something from there.
Or should we do?
Mine
non-Astartes.
mine will
I
be a
think whether we could
wild.
just do
Mine will be a wild card. I think Astartes is good because most players are going to come in at Astartes. So
true enough. All right,
I think having at least one of those in the.
And when you've got that 106, is it 160 still box?
yeah,
that's all. It's all available.
you feel about. Okay, let's do this. All right,
Cool.
let's
All
call
right.
it a night. So
Okay.
we'll speak to you all in a few weeks' time when we do our
Next
next
time.
episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Run through of all of the new stuff and either the Solar Auxilia thing that Mr. B was talking about, and maybe the cheap list challenge.
All right. Good night
Take care,
from me.
everybody.
Yep. Take care. Good night.
Love
Bye.
and snuggles.